We are Buffalo. We are Wisconsin.
It is a gorgeous Friday night in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So great to be home. We're at Miller Park tonight, the home of the Brewers. And a big crowd filing in. It's the Brewers and the New York Mets. Starts a 3-game series tonight. And the Brewers starting a nice homestand here. The Mets and the Reds coming in. Tonight, David Wright headed to an all-star game. The captain of the Home Run Derby. Johnny Hellwig making his Miller Park debut tonight. Carlos Gomez back in the starting lineup. And we welcome you from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us. And if you like flame-throwing pitching prospects, tonight is your night because we've got Johnny Hellwig for the Brewers ready to make his Miller Park debut and Zach Wheeler for the New York Mets.
And these guys can be clones of each other. They're big prospects. They were picked up in trades. And you talk about lighting up a speed gun. I mean, these two guys, Johnny Hellwig, a big prospect with the Angels. The Angels needed a starter for a playoff run. They got Zach Greinke. Hellwig comes over along with Segura. You can see what he was able to do. Debuted against the Pittsburgh Pirates at the end of June. Zach Wheeler, a first-round draft choice. He was in that Carlos Beltran deal back in 2011. Drafted by the Giants in the first round. That's pretty much the only difference between these two guys. Made his Major League debut in mid-June.
Well, this is going to be fun tonight. We'll see who comes out on top. It's the Brewers and the Mets. The homestand opens tonight. Roof is open. Tailgating scene is alive and well. And Bertie, you know he's always ready to slide. We'll check in with Telly and Augie when we continue.
Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota. Let's go places. And by AT&T U-verse. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. Brewers and Mets getting set to kick off a 3-game weekend series. Johnny Hellwig making his Miller Park debut after making his Major League debut in Pittsburgh last week. Alongside Jerry Augustine, I'm Telly Hughes. Johnny Hellwig will be the story today. Augie, how will he bounce back in his second start in the big leagues, and what does he need to do differently this time around?
You know, first of all, this is his home debut, and that's very special pitcher. But what he has to do, and when he gets to that mound, he'll be playing 2 games within himself. First will be that physical game. He's got to pitch with the aggressiveness that got him here and got him that success. Secondly, it's going to be a mind game. He's got to focus on that strike zone. It's all about getting ahead of hitters and focusing on pitching 1 inning at a time. This will play big for Johnny Hellwig tonight in his home debut.
Well, we'll see if Hellwig can get his first major league win in his home debut, and it will be a good contest because the Mets will send out a rookie in themselves. There go the fellas getting ready to kick off a 6-game homestand. BA and Rock will be on the other side of the break with the first pitch.
Today, 79 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, ready for a great Friday night of Major League Baseball here at Miller Park. Just a beautiful sight here with the roof open. Summerfest in full throttle, wrapping up this weekend, and the Brewers taking the field behind their 6'9" right-hander Johnny Hellwig. First trip to the mound here at Miller Park. You know the nerves are boiling for him tonight. Looking for his first major league win. Terry Collins and the New York Mets, they played 15 innings yesterday, suffered a loss at the hands of the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're coming off a 4-game split with the first place Diamondbacks. And the Mets with a record of 35-47. Terry Collins batting order brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Eric Young will lead off. The switch hitting left fielder Daniel Murphy, then David Wright. The middle of the batting order is Ike Davis, who was just promoted from the minor leagues today. Kirk Neuenhuis in right field with Juan Lagares in center. Bottom 3, it's John Buck, the big catcher, Omar Quintanilla at short, and Zach Wheeler, talented young prospect pitcher for the Mets, on the mound batting ninth. And that batting order will be facing Johnny Hellwig.
Now, Johnny Hellwig roughed up his first time out as a starter in Pittsburgh, but his second appearance out of the bullpen came on Monday against the Nationals. 6'9", 206 pounds, and Johnny Hellwig looking for a turnaround. The Menards Brewers defense for tonight: Schaefer, Gomez, Aoki from left to right. Ramirez, Segura, Ricky Weeks back at second base. It was Bianchi yesterday, Francisco at first, and Jonathan Lucroy hanging the signs for the big tall right-hander Johnny Hellwig tonight.
Well, Ryan Braun still on the disabled list. Things are going along better with Braun. In the meantime, Logan Schaefer continues to get those starts. Sophia has a laundry list of injury updates for us that we will get to her throughout the broadcast. It's going to take a few innings to get through them all, but everything positive for Milwaukee for the most part, trying to get some players back and healthy as we approach the second half. Retro Friday tonight. Brewers with the ball and glove logo and the royal blue and gold. Four-man umpiring crew in place tonight. John Hirschbeck calling the balls and strikes. James Hoy, Bob Davidson, and Jim Reynolds, the three base umpires. Stage is all set, and the former Colorado Rocky Eric Young getting new life with the New York Mets, and he leads off. Hellwig made his major league debut last Friday against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and then because of the bullpen situation, he was bumped from his last start, needed to be available in the bullpen, and pitched out of the bullpen in Washington. So his next start, his second start, pushed back a couple of days to today. So he's gone a week between starts. And Young lines one into left field. That's going to fall for a base hit. So E.Y. Jr. with a single to start it tonight.
Yeah, E.Y. Jr. swinging the bat pretty well as a New York Met, over 300, 261 overall. Got some pretty good speed, does Young. And taking that Hellwig fastball outer half and dumping it into left field. So a good start to the night for the Mets.
A leadoff base runner, and here is Daniel Murphy for New York. Johnny Hellwig, just 24 years of age, one of the most highly touted pitching prospects in the Brewers system. Brewers have a number of success stories going on in the minor leagues right now from the pitching front, and we're likely to see a few of them before season's end, but it ends up being Hellwig as the one prospect that arrives here. And he was going along very well in AAA to earn the promotion. That's one of the reasons why he was called up. He was in a stretch of 7 games in AAA. He won 6 of them and had a 1.64 ERA.
It changed his approach just a little bit. More two-seamers and change-ups. Not trying to blow everybody away with the big fastball.
Fly ball into left field. Schaefer will run it down for out number 1.
We'll see what the plan's going to be for Hellwig tonight. Whether he's going to reach back and try and bring that upper 90s fastball, be more particularly on the corners, keeping the baseball down with the two-seamer. It was interesting because he started out with the two-seamer in Pittsburgh, and then all of a sudden, his second inning, he started getting trouble, and then he started reaching back and throwing about 96, 97 miles an hour.
He essentially turned into his own closer in Pittsburgh, trying to power his way through with some traffic on the bases, and he did not last through the second inning. And it was one of those major league debuts that you file away and try to improve upon. Talking to Rick Kranitz and Ron Renicky, they were raving about Hellwig after that start. I think every coach and manager is interested to see mentally where the pitcher is after his first game in the big leagues, and they both reported that they liked what they heard and saw from Hellwig, and he gets another chance. This will be a good test for him early. David Wright, not a whole lot to talk about with the Mets as far as success stories, but David Wright continues to be one of them. He and Marlon Byrd have led the way offensively. Byrd is not in the starting lineup tonight. David Wright hitting .306 with 13 home runs and 43 driven in.
And just a typical season for David Wright. I mean, Citi Field, not a very easy ballpark to hit home runs, so 13 jacks, pretty good.
Yeah, big swing and a miss. Hellwig at 94 miles an hour with the sinking fastball, and it's 1-2.
And David Wright does just about everything right on the baseball field. Tremendous defensively at third base. He He can hit for power, and uses the whole field.
Now there's a demarcation day for David Wright that the Mets look at, June 5th. Since that time, only 2 other players in the major leagues have more hits. He has 40 hits over that span in a little over a month. So a good hitter who is a hot hitter coming into this series, and he shoots one into right field, a base hit. Young thinking about third, and he's on his way. Aoki's throw is cut off, and first and third for the Mets.
That's what we're talking about with David Wright, not just a home run hitter. He shoots that baseball in the right field. Good piece of hitting by David Wright, and he can run too. He's got 14 stolen bases this year. And just shoots that pitch, a nice inside out stroke, and a pitch middle in. A pitch he would expect a power hitter to try and pull out of the ballpark, not David Wright.
So the Mets are threatening here in the first with runners at the corners, and here is Ike Davis, demoted to the minor leagues in early June. His last game in the big leagues was June 9th, and he left hitting 161. They sent him down to Las Vegas, their AAA affiliate in the Pacific Coast League. Davis hit 293 down there in 21 games and 7 home runs, so he has earned the call up back in the big leagues after a month in AAA.
Man, it was all mechanical, the problems for Ike Davis. I mean, a lot of movement with the hands, even when the ball was on its way. And even now, I mean, you could see the way he was dropping his hands as that baseball was coming to home plate. Tough way to hit.
First and third with 1 out. And Hellwig misses inside. 3 balls, no strikes. It's a little bit unusual to see a player who is struggling like Davis sent down to the minor leagues, spent a month down there, and then inserted back into the cleanup spot in the batting order.
And it tells you all you need to know about what the Mets are doing offensively right now.
And there's ball 4.
Been a rough stretch. Not too many guys. You look up those at that batting order with the averages up there, nothing really all that good except for David Wright.
Going to be a first inning visit from pitching coach Rick Kranitz. Hellwig walking Davis to load the bases. The Mets as a team take a lot of pitches. They have a lot of long at bats. They'll get deep into counts. Critics of the Mets offense say they take too many pitches. And with a team that is not putting up great numbers with batting average with 2 strikes, this is a team that applies a theory to see as many pitches, work pitchers, try to get them deep into counts, and then try to get into the bullpen as early as possible.
Name is still one of the lowest on base percentages in the National League, but they do walk a lot. 5th in the league in walks. Just not getting hits.
Well, Hellwig misses down and away to Kirk Nieuwenhuis. Nieuwenhuis yesterday hit a game-tying home run for the Mets. They had 2 extra inning game-tying home runs. Nieuwenhuis's came in the 14th inning. Anthony Recker hit one in the 13th. Mets eventually lost that game in 15. So you got to wonder about their bullpen tonight. And Hellwig misses badly. 2-0 the count.
So important for Hellwig to get off to a good start in this game. You know, roughed up his first time out, gave up a couple of runs in his relief appearance, and needs to have some success early.
And that's down for ball 3. So walking Davis on 4 straight, and now a 3-0 count to Kirk Nieuwenhuis. Mets have him loaded, and we'll see if Hellwig can come back in the count.
Get that 2-seamer, get a ground ball, and get out of this mess. Don't worry too much about the corners. Just keep the baseball down.
Brewers set up to turn 2. Nieuwenhuis takes ball 4. He's going to walk it a run. So back-to-back walks, and the Mets take the lead. Johnny Hellwig is a work in progress for sure, and the great debate in the Brewers baseball operations department, do you bring him up to the big leagues, try to work on some things at this level in front of these crowds, you know, in front of a television audience, or do you keep him in AAA and allow him to work on some things?
Well, with all the injuries to the starting rotation, the Brewers, you know, no choice but to bring up Hellwig. You got to bring up the guy that's throwing well down there. You know, whether they wanted to keep him down or not, the fact is they need him here.
Yep. And some guys embrace the opportunity and they fly away like Matt Harvey has done with the New York Mets. Most guys, though, go through some growing pains when they just start their career in the big leagues. There's a good fastball in there for strike two as Juan Lagares sees a 97-mile-an-hour fastball go by.
And that was straight as a string. Not too much worried about movement. Just powered it by him.
Bases loaded, one out, no balls, two strikes, and he got a piece, fouled it back. This is a lot like what Hellwig's first start looked like in the second inning, when he was coming out kind of in a cruising speed mode at 91, 93 miles an hour, and he got himself in trouble, and he started showing the big fastball.
You go back to what's natural for you. I mean, when you're in trouble.
0-2 pitch, breaking ball on the ground. Segura is there. He'll take it himself. Throw to first. Francisco off the bag. And a run will score.
A little indecision with Segura and Weeks out there, and because of that, might have cost him the double play. Wasn't able to get a good throw. I think he had to make a throw over Ricky Weeks, actually. This looked like it was going to be a sure double play. Weeks has to get out of the way, and I think that was all it took to disrupt the throw a little bit. They can't blame Ricky. He wasn't sure if Segura was going to flip it to him or not. He got out of there in time, but wasn't able to get off a good throw.
And had to throw off the wrong foot to get to the bag. And that's kind of been the way things have gone for the Brewers this year. Opportunity there to get out of it. They cannot. And now 2 runs are in with runners at the corners for John Buck. Buck got off to a very fast start at the plate. Matter of fact, he had 6 home runs in the first couple of weeks of the season. He's hit 13 home runs this year. Has fallen in the batting order. Broken bat there. Segura coming in. He has time. The catcher running. And Hellwig is out of the inning. 2 walks, 2 hits, 2 runs in his Miller Park debut. For Johnny Hellwig. And now the other phenom on the mound, Zach Wheeler. Ron Renicky trying to get this ball club pointed in the right direction, coming off a 2-of-5 road trip. Piggly Wiggly batting order today for Renicky, Nori Aoki, Gene Segura, and Carlos Gomez. And then Ramirez, Lucroy, and Francisco in the middle, with Weeks, Schaefer, and Hellwig rounding it out. And the talented young Zach Wheeler making just his 4th start in the big leagues.
Yeah, first start against the Atlanta Braves, his major league debut, went very well. 6 innings, no runs, but the last 2 not so much. 9 earned runs in 10 innings of work. And the Menards Mets defense, middle of the pack in team defense, have committed 51 errors. David Wright, the Gold Glover, at third base. Ike Davis, as we talked about, just got brought up from the minor leagues. John Buck hanging the signs for Zach Wheeler tonight.
There's David Wright. He'll be the captain of the Home Run Derby. That's a tough order, having to pick his roster mates for the National League at the Home Run Derby at the All-Star game. I think he said he's got his list cut down to 10 right now. First pitch from Wheeler is outside for ball 1. Nori Aoki coming in, batting .292. As his bat turned around a little bit, Aoki seems to have great success against left-handed pitching, and what's unusual, sometimes that success against lefties has started a hot streak for him at the plate.
And a lot of good left-handed hitters will tell you that when they're not seeing the ball well, not swinging the bat, you get a lefty and they hang right in there. And you kind of forget about power when you're facing a left-handed pitcher. Lefty versus lefty, you concentrate on taking it up the middle, opposite field, and nobody better at that than Aoki.
Aoki had 2 hits yesterday, 2 for 5 against the Nationals. The Brewers lost 8-5 yesterday.
He showed some fight once again, came back down 3 runs, came back to tie it. That was in the 7th inning.
Now, one thing Aoki does very well, and Gene Segura is on this list as well, but the highest percentage of hits on ground balls, whether those are infield hits or grounders that make it through, as Aoki slaps one to left. He's been wearing out that part of the field. And he comes up with his 3rd hit in the last 2 days.
Yeah, he learned that in college. I mean, he had a college coach tell him that he might want to think about doing that. It's one thing about trying to do it. It's another thing to be able to do it as well as Nori. There's a 4-seam fastball, mid-90s from Wheeler. Gets on top of it and just serves it out there in the left field. Take about 200 of those every year.
Leadoff base runner for the Brew Crew, and now Gene Segura coming up with Aoki at first. Segura hitting .323. He had a nice day yesterday, had 2 hits. He was 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored.
Well, look for the Brewers to run on Zach Wheeler. He's given up 6 stolen bases in his first 3 starts. Relatively slow to home plate. John Buck, a decent thrower behind home plate. We'll see what the Brewers do. Get men on base and try to make something happen.
Well, Segura, good contact hitter as he cuts and misses at that one. Was some hair on that fastball from Wheeler. Charter cable high speed pitch. He's hit 97 already, as has Hellwig. And it is remarkable, the stories and the descriptions of these 2 pitchers, how similar they are.
Yeah.
And a couple of guys, I was talking to Terry Collins, the Mets manager, before the game, and you would have thought he was giving a scouting report on Johnny Hellwig the way he was talking about Zach Wheeler.
The only difference in their histories, Zach Wheeler a 1st rounder, Hellwig a 16th rounder. And that's been it. That's really it. Their minor league numbers very similar as far as earned run average.
Segura chases one upstairs and fouls it away.
That's how they got to their respective teams. And they both can bring it. And both trying to figure it out at this level. It takes a while.
Wheeler trying to do it in the very bright spotlight of New York. Both pitchers coming to their organizations in key trades. The Giants sent Wheeler to the Mets for Carlos Beltran a couple of years ago. Of course, Zach Greinke was the piece that the Angels wanted. That's over the head of Wheeler and bobbled at second base, and everybody's going to be safe. Mishandled by Murphy.
I'm not sure who Murphy was going to be able to get on that anyway. He goes in front of Aoki, make it an impossible play to get him at second base, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to get Segura. And he really doesn't play this all that well. I think he was thinking about second base, turned around too soon. That's just a terrible play defensively. Right there, it looks as though he's trying to get the lead runner. Got nobody.
He's got a lot of distance between himself and Aoki. I'm not sure. Maybe he thought he was going to be able to get a tag on him. There's no chance he's going to throw out Segura. It will go as an E4. Segura reaches on a fielder's choice. Gomez down the right field line. Here comes Aoki. He will score. Gomez flying to second. And he's in there. And here comes Segura. And Segura is out at home. And now Gomez to third. And he's safe. Boy, a wild play. A run scores. An out at home plate. Gomez ends up at third base.
Wow. A lot going on in this first inning. I mean, no warming up in the bullpen. Get right after it in the first inning. Yeah, nice job by Gomez to hit that one just inside the first baseline. Now you know Aoki's going to be able to score. Ed Cedar sending the runner, challenging the throwing arm of Nieuwenhuis. They get Segura at home plate. And Gomez very aggressively gets to third base.
That was a great throw from Quintanilla, the shortstop. It looked to me, Rock, like Segura ran through a stop sign originally by Ed Cedar. And then he eventually said, okay, hurry.
I'm not sure what he did. I mean, he just didn't look like he was going to slow down too much. And
no, he was booking around the bags.
Yeah.
Now Gomez is there with one out. And Aramis Ramirez at the plate, and he sends one to left. This will be plenty deep to get the run home. And just like that, the Brewers answer the two-run first inning by the Mets with two of their own here in the bottom of the first.
Yes, so both of these young flamethrowers struggle in the first inning. Well, let's check out Jean Segura and whether he did or did not run through a stop sign. Ed Cedar waving around Aoki, and check out Ed Cedar. He's bringing him around. Then he stops him, and then he says, all right, you're not going to stop. Go ahead.
Go ahead and hurry.
That's the toughest play for a third base coach. I mean, he's got one guy he's waving around. The other guy's steaming around the bag and tries to slow him down. But I think Segura thought he was waving him around, too. So he's an out at home plate.
Yeah, bang, bang play at home plate as well. And another smart play to think about, the way Segura goes in feet first with John Buck, who will drop the anvil on any base runner coming to the plate. He's not an easy guy to move off that dish.
He's a big boy, and he knows how to block home play. That's the important thing. And he stops Segura dead in his tracks.
So all of that said and done here, you got a sac fly from Ramirez. Gomez a double and an RBI. He scores the second run. And now Lucroy is up with two outs and nobody on. Jonathan Lucroy comes in batting .269. 8 home runs and 43 driven in. Oh, that's a big fastball up in the zone, 95 miles an hour, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, pretty straight. He's got a curveball and a slider to go with it, and he will throw a changeup. But according to Johnny Narin, he throws his changeup at about 89 miles an hour.
Now this is just going to be one of those games, and goodness knows I did it for many years in the minor leagues, but you're always thinking about, you know, what could be from these players. And I think you almost have to look at these two pitchers like that tonight. They're by no means a finished product, not even close. And you see stuff like that at 97 miles an hour, and it opens your eyes. But each pitcher has given up a pair of runs in the first inning.
on out to Miller Park as your Milwaukee Brewers host the New York Mets today through Sunday. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com. And some good news coming out of the Brewers Infirmary today. A big day for Ryan Braun. He took 50 swings in the batting cage today and said he felt about as good as he could have hoped for. Now he will take batting practice on the field tomorrow, go back in the cage on Sunday, and then hopefully hit the field again for batting practice on Monday. Ron Renicky hoping that he can really get after it these next few days and see if he will be available before the break. Also, an update on Willie Peralta. His last start cut short because of some tightness in his hamstring. He threw an outstanding bullpen today, Ron said. So he said he felt really good. They were going to talk it over with Doug Melvin and see if he would make his start on Sunday as scheduled, or if they will give him just a few extra days rest. The plan there, not to skip his turn fully, but maybe just push him back a few days, BA.
All right, thanks, Sophia. And Sophia's got a lot more on the injury front to report. Those are the two pressing matters right now, and where it was once thought that Ryan Braun would not come back before the All-Star break, there is movement forward that he possibly could return before the All-Star break, and it'll all depend on what happens over the next few days. Good to hear that Braun is swinging the bat, and he'll be back on the field tomorrow during BP.
That's good to know that Ryan's going to be back at least after the All-Star break with that nerve problem in his thumb.
There's a leadoff walk. Omar Quintanilla is aboard. This is a ball club in the Mets. They will stand there and watch pitches go by. That's what they do. This is very much in the Oakland A's of the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yep, more balls and strikes so far for Johnny Hellwig. He's got such big movement on his fastball. You're catching Hellwig and you see him consistently missing off the plate on the arm side. You adjust that target a little bit. And you set up maybe more over the plate. Do something with your target to help him out. You can see Lucroy trying to do that.
Wheeler bunts it foul.
Hellwig, Peralta, guys like that, you just can't sit on the corners early in the count. You get ahead 0-2, 1-2, yeah. But for those guys to be able to get that big movement with that velocity over the plate, you can't worry too much about the corners. You concentrate on keeping the baseball down as opposed to in and out.
Leadoff runner at first. The pitcher Wheeler trying to advance him. He gets a good bunt down. Ramirez has only one play, and there is out number one on a sacrifice from Zach Wheeler. Quintanilla advancing. Now the guy that connects the Oakland A's in what is most popularly known as the Moneyball era in Oakland, and Billy Beane getting a lot of credit for that, is Sandy Alderson. He's the general manager of the New York Mets. That former A's skipper Bob Guerin now in the dugout with Terry Collins. There are a lot of connections there, but Rocket is an organizational philosophy of on base percentage, pitches per plate appearance. It has been interesting over the last year or so. I know our buddy Tom Verducci wrote a great story about how that particular style of baseball, unless you have a New York Yankees type lineup with such great two-strike hitters,
right,
can actually end up hurting you as an offense. It all depends on the talent you have at the plate. It's debatable, but it is an interesting discussion for those who are into the metrics.
Well, if you have an organizational philosophy like that, you have to have players in your organization that do that anyway. You can't expect players that are free swingers and expect them to adhere to that philosophy. They can't do that.
Bouncing ball to Segura, who bobbles another one. Gene Segura is in a major defensive slump right now.
Well, he was thinking about third base, and he would have had Quintanilla easily. I mean, that's just bad base running, and he got away with it. One hopper to Segura. Hits it right in front of him, and Segura has him dead to rights at third base, but just tried to be a little bit too quick. You're not supposed to go on a ground ball hit in front of you or right at you, behind you yet. And Segura had the out at third base.
That'll be an error on Segura. So each club with an error now. First and third for Daniel Murphy. Saying for a pitcher who is out there for just his second major league start, Brewers really need to tighten up defensively. Can't afford to give the Mets extra outs.
Yep, they already weren't able to turn a double play and out right there. So there's a couple of outs that Hellwig should have had.
Hellwig, instead of going to second base to start a double play, goes to third. Quintanilla's back, and the bases are loaded.
Yeah, ball like that, you spin around to second base and turn two. Well, you saw Quintanilla take a couple of hard steps toward home plate, but then right away went right back. Check him out. There he goes, and then here he goes back, and he's in there easily at third base. Well, this is what you do every single time. A one hopper, you turn around, you see Ramirez pointing at second base, and then realizes I better get back. He's coming to me.
Yeah, that's a double play.
Rookie mistake.
Right in front of him.
They call it a rookie mistake. I'm going to use it.
Okay, I'll go with that. But it does bring up David Wright with the bases loaded, as opposed to having David Wright lead off next inning. So that changes things a little for the rookie.
Yeah, a big rookie mistake.
Two ball game. And Wright up there in a run producer's position, swing and a miss. 0-2 the count on David Wright.
I think Johnny Hellwig is going to decide. I'm going to see if we can hit my best fastball. He just gave him one. 96 outer half. You know, when you're in this spot, you're young and you can throw hard. This is when you want to use it, right here. Do what is natural and comfortable to you.
0-2 the count. And a little flare out to Francisco, and he'll make the catch.
And ate him up inside.
Out number 2. 96-mile-an-hour fastball on David Wright. That's a big out for Hellwig.
Yeah, you get into these situations, forget about the two-seamer trying to get the ground ball. Blow it right by him. There's a four-seamer. Here it comes. Hit it and eats him up. That's a good hitter getting eaten up on a good fastball.
So 2 gone, and here is Ike Davis. Davis walked his first time up there hacking this time, and he cuts right through a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
You watch Ike Davis as he drops his hands before he swings the bat. I mean, very vulnerable to a high fastball. I believe it's almost impossible for him to get to that. I mean, especially at 96, 97 miles an hour. Watch him drop his hands as the ball comes to home plate.
Bouncing ball, foul, pass first.
You know, an approach like that makes you a dead low ball hitter, and Hellwig just gave him one.
You know, a couple of guys that come to mind when you think about dropping the hands like that. Darryl Strawberry, for one, the fact that he's in a Mets uniform, he had the pump of the bat.
But he brought it up when
right.
He was ready to get in position to hit. Ike Davis doesn't. He keeps it down.
Much smoother swing for Strawberry. You know, another guy that really had the bat pump like that, Willie Mays did that. But Ike Davis is in a pretty awkward position.
There's no Willie Mays.
He's no Willie Mays.
Not many are, right?
I'm not taking away from Ike Davis, but Willie Mays is Willie Mays.
Right. Those guys could do a lot of things with their hands and their bodies that you shouldn't do, but still, hit the ball hard.
Well, you got to give Davis some credit. He went to AAA, and even though the Pacific Coast League is a hitter's league, he went down there and hit. And Davis, in his month in AAA, 21 games, he had 7 home runs. 293 batting average. There's a lot in there. Seems like he's got a lot of mechanical stuff to work through with this swing.
Yeah, a lot going on. They say if you're going to have movement, have movement with your lower half, your legs. Keep your hands still.
Oh, 0-2 the count. Bases loaded for the Mets, and Hellwig misses away. Looked like a changeup that time, maybe, or a curveball that missed badly. Hellwig has developed a changeup, or been trying to develop a changeup in AAA. Was a successful pitch for him down there. And that's going to be the pitch for him that determines whether he's a big league starter or a reliever. Slow roller. Segura has nowhere to go with this one. Had a shift on for Davis, and a run will score on an infield hit. It's 3-2 Mets.
Mets don't have a baseball out of the infield in this inning. Bases loaded. A little squibber off the end of the bat, and with the shift, no chance for an out. And Segura catches it, holds on, and it's 3-2.
And Hellwig will face Kirk Neuenhuis now, who walked with the bases loaded in the first. Bouncing ball. Weeks can't get it. One run in. That's Young. Here comes Murphy. He'll score. And it's a 2 RBI single for Neuenhuis. Mets are up 5-2.
And not messing around early in the count. Got a pitch that he liked, and just out of the reach of Weeks. There's a two-seamer. You can see the spin on it. He goes and gets it. He hooks a pitch down and away, and ends up rolling into right field. Ricky not able to get there.
So 3 runs are in here in the second, and here is Juan Lagares. Good breaking ball from Hellwig. Strike 2. Right on the corner. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Mets with 2 hits in the inning. 3 runs are in. Been an error. Lagares bounces one to Weeks, and that will retire the side. An ugly beginning to this one. Mets are up 5-2. We're headed to the bottom of the second. Rewind. And Carlos Gomez showing some hustle in the first inning. Had a double and an RBI, and then advanced to third base as Segura was coming home and thrown out. It was a bang-bang play at the plate. Gomez decides to take the extra base, and he would end up scoring in that inning on a sac fly from Aramis Ramirez. So 5-2 our score. The Mets with 2 in the first, 3 in the second.
We have 3 unearned runs on the line of Johnny Hellwig, so he's given up 5 unearned runs so far this year. 2 of his 7 runs unearned in Pittsburgh. So defense not helping him too much.
Going deep into the thesaurus on ways to describe the start of this game.
Right.
Ugly seems the one that comes to mind the fastest.
Yeah,
it's not the most creative,
yeah,
but
both sides, right?
this play's not made. Wrong bases thrown to. Some errors. We'll see if these two teams can get it going here. Juan Francisco has been swinging a hot bat lately. .343 hitter over his last 10.
Came up with that big hit on Tuesday night against the Washington Nationals. That double to score a couple of runs.
Well, you love matchups like this. A pitcher who can bring it into the mid to upper 90s and a power hitter at the plate who can hit him as far as anyone.
Dudek, beware.
3-2 pitch, and Francisco had a big lash at it, fouls it back. Zach Wheeler trying to live up to the enormous success of Matt Harvey. No easy thing to do, especially in New York. But those two are the future of the franchise. The Mets have a couple of big arms in their minor league system as well. And Francisco draws the walk. So Wheeler walks the free swinger, and the Brewers with a man on to start the second inning.
Well, settle in. This one's long from over. Both of these youngsters having a rough time of it so far. Wheeler not a guy that, down in the minor leagues, walked a ton. He did have his fair share of walks, but not his last 4 appearances down in the minor leagues. Hellwig, on the other hand, has been a guy that, at least this year in AAA, had a rough time with the base on balls.
Weeks gets jammed, a fly ball to right, and it'll be run down by NYN. 1 gone in the second. Interesting note on Zach Wheeler. He's given up 2 hits tonight. Aoki and Gomez with base hits in the first inning. But he's making his 3rd major league start. And opposing major league hitters now 3 for 27 against him. But he has 5 walks. These are all runners in scoring position numbers, but he has 5 walks. So he's been able to give up a few hits here or there, but when runners have gotten on base, he has been about as stingy as it gets. He was 1 for 19 with runners in scoring position from the mound when he entered this game.
And you wonder why that is. I mean, maybe better out of the stretch. Hitters might be a little bit more aggressive against him, swinging that pitches out of the zone. Some guys, on the other hand, have dreadful numbers and try to get outs with men in scoring position.
Logan Schaefer with a runner at first and 1 out.
One thing you notice about Wheeler, very slow to home plate. Even with a man at first base, he picks that leg up, doesn't really seem to be in too much of a hurry to get it to John Buck, his catcher. Teams have taken liberties on Wheeler in his first 3 starts. 6 stolen bases against him. Even down by 3 runs, you might see the Brewers continue to run.
Schaefer fouls it back. Count remains at 1-2. Wheeler giving up 2 unearned runs in the first inning. Hellwig giving up 3 unearned runs in the top of the second inning. So we have fulfilled our unearned runs quota for a while. Schaefer fouls another one back. Just pouring in the fastballs is Wheeler.
That's a good shot right there. You think he can hit that? Pretty straight up in the strike zone. Upper 90s. I like that shot.
Two and two to Logan Schaefer. And he's hanging tough.
Oh, speed pitch at 90 miles an hour. I mean, everything pretty hard, pretty firm. Doesn't really have that pitch that really gets you off the fastball. Most of his pitches have been over 95 miles an hour. There's a slider at 90.
At 29 of his 35 pitches over 95 miles an hour, and he goes to another one there, and he strikes out Schaefer. Second strikeout for Zach Wheeler.
Elevated the fastball, the 2-seamer. Well, check that 4-seamer up around the letters, and you just can't really catch up to that. It might look quick right there, but try looking at it in the batter's box. 60 feet 6 inches away.
It's like a big piece of chocolate cake, Rock.
I know.
It looks so good, but it's no good for you.
I ate a lot of chocolate cake when I played.
It's good. Hellwig takes a strike. Then you got to go back to the dugout, and somebody says, "Well, why are you swinging at that?"
You know, you lay off of that, your chances are better, really. Yeah, that high fastball looks so good to you because it's so close to your eyes. You see it. It looks like a balloon. It's like a beach ball up there.
Hellwig breaks his bat. And there is the final out of the second inning for Zach Wheeler. 5-2 Mets. We go to the third.
Two rookies on the mound, and so tonight on our AT&T Twitter poll, we're taking a look at what some other rookie pitchers are doing throughout the league. So tonight we're asking fans which National League rookie starting pitcher is having the best debut season. Two of them in our division: Shelby Miller of the Cardinals, Hyunjin Ryu of the Dodgers, Jose Fernandez of the Marlins, and Garrett Cole of the Pirates. Fans can tweet us at FS Wisconsin with their thoughts, BA. And again, fans should get familiar with Miller and Cole because we'll be seeing a lot of them, I'm sure, in the future.
Yeah, no question about it. And off to great starts. Thank you, Sophia. A reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. 5-2. The Mets have the lead. We head to the third inning. Let's see if Hellwig can put up a 0. All 3 of those runs allowed in the second unearned against Hellwig. And he starts John Buck with a breaking ball. Each club with an error. Mets got a couple of hits with 2 outs last inning that produced runs. A little squibber infield hit by Davis. And then Kirk Neuenhuis hit a ground ball through the hole between first and second to drive in 2. Two balls and a strike. I would imagine Johnny Hellwig is not an easy guy to catch.
No.
6'9".
Got to be on your toes back there behind home plate. Throws hard. He can be wild. And,
sinker.
Yeah.
But it looks effortless when he puts it there.
And movement like that at his velocity, I mean, you get a lot of knuckle busters back there. You know, those, you don't catch him right, just seems like you just bend your thumb back when you catch it wrong. And I'm sure there's a lot of that, the way his pitches move when they get to the strike zone. Key is for him to be able to put it where he wants to. That's the key to his success. He's got the stuff.
Right in your living room. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Buck gets jammed. A pop-up, foul territory. Francisco puts it away. Out number 1 here in the third. One thing about Hellwig, and there's an old phrase in baseball called easy cheese. And that's what he has. He seems like it's just effortless throwing that fastball in the mid to upper 90s. So there are so many tools in there, so much raw talent available.
Man, he's such a big kid. I mean, his stride when he gets rid of the baseball, what's he, about 54, 55 feet? That front foot when he gets rid of it makes it even quicker.
Yeah, sinker bounced out to second. Quintanilla is out. And 2 gone here in the third inning.
I remember facing Randy Johnson. Was he 6'10", 6'9", 6'10", something like that? I mean, it seems like he's just handing the baseball to the catcher. He had no time to decide whether you wanted to swing or not. And had that big fastball with the slider. I mean, tall guys have that advantage. Seem like they're right on top of you.
Facing the pitcher, Zach Wheeler. And he pulls one through the hole, a base hit. So Zach Wheeler with his first major league hit.
To keep that baseball.
Yeah, they will ask for the baseball, send it in as a souvenir.
Four-seam fastball, middle in. He drops the head on it and gets his first hit. So opposing pitchers continue to give the Brewers problems. Well, that was a big issue in that Washington Nationals series. Ryan Zimmerman on Monday had 3 hits. Or I should say Jordan Zimmerman.
I think Ryan had 3 hits that night too.
Yeah.
Well, Hellwig back to the top of the order with the pitcher on base, Eric Young Jr. He had a base hit to the opposite field in the first. He reached on an error in the second inning and has scored twice. Breaking ball for a strike. Good one.
Dropped it in 81 miles an hour. You compare that to his fastball that's been up as high as 98. That is a big speed differential. And dropping a breaking ball right down the middle.
Another jam shot. Easy play for Segura. And Hellwig with a good inning. Gives up a hit to the pitcher, but a scoreless third.
Stand for Milwaukee, and today's time of the game winner, Birmingham's Bar in Sturgeon Bay, if they call the Brewers. In the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Let's check our carsoup.com email. The booth question tonight comes from Brian in Milwaukee. Are prospects overrated in their trade value? That is an interesting question, and that is going to come up quite a bit here as we approach the trade deadline at the end of July. And it's always a wait and see for the team that acquires the prospect. Zach Wheeler is a perfect example. I mean, Carlos Beltran has not played for the Mets in 2 years, and now Wheeler's just now getting to the big leagues, and it looks like he has a bright future ahead of him. But I figure there's going to be some, some stuff to iron out with Wheeler on the mound.
And when you trade that big player like a Beltran, like a Zach Greinke, there's no guarantee that the prospects that you get will ever get to the big leagues. And it's one of the reasons why I think teams hesitate to pull the trigger. They want to make sure they get the most out of that big name. It's certainly Gene Segura. That was a good deal from Milwaukee.
Aoki with his second hit, and that one is going to go to the warning track. Nori Aoki into second with a double. Boy, that ball was scalded off the bat of Aoki.
Yeah, he didn't mind anybody's fastball. I mean, he's a good fastball hitter, 96 miles an hour, and able to rip it right back through the middle. The Mets didn't think he was going to pull the baseball. Had the center fielder out there shade a little bit toward left, and he hits it like a rocket just to the right side of second base and all the way to the wall. All of a sudden in a good stretch right now where he's swinging the bat well, seeing it, coming up with a bunch of hits.
Brewers down 5-2, trying to chip away whenever they can. Got a runner in scoring position as Segura takes a ball. Well, obviously the Brewers got the better end of the deal for Zach Greinke, and what the Angels were counting on was that they could re-sign Greinke, and they did not. But you don't know at the time. I think most general managers would tell you they want those trades to work out for both teams. It keeps good trade partners alive. And
Right.
I mean, you think about some of the famous deals that have been done. I think the Detroit Tigers were ecstatic to get Doyle Alexander from the Atlanta Braves in 1987. He really helped them.
Yeah.
But they had to trade away John Smoltz,
Right.
who's headed to the Hall of Fame. Segura, a little jam shot for the first out. And a soft line drive.
Well, Doyle Alexander got to the postseason. What do you go, 9-0, something like that, 10-0, something is crazy. But there's always more pressure on the team that's trying to get the prospects. They have the big player. It's an unproven commodity. You don't know what they're going to end up being. And it was very fortunate that they got Segura, Johnny Hellwig, if he's able to pan out, Ariel Pena. I mean, pretty good chance you're going to get 3 big leaguers for one guy that pitched, half a year and then took off as a free agent.
And you remember the deal for CC Sabathia. One of the big pieces in that deal was Matt Laporta. Gomez, slow roller, going to be a tough play. Right, cuts it off, throw to first, not in time. Infield hit for Carlos Gomez, the former Met.
And just continues to hit. It drives him down the right field line for a double, and then an infield hit, so he can show his speed. Gets out of that box very quickly, and he's about 100% speed in about 4 steps. And no chance for David Wright, as good as he is, not able to get enough on the throw.
Yeah, good call. Davis stretched as far as he could. Gomez beats it out, and a threat to steal second here. One gone, first and third for Ramos Ramirez. Ramirez has been swinging a good bat lately. Ramos had the day off from the starting lineup yesterday. He did pinch hit in the 9th inning of yesterday's game. Struck out. But he's going along very well at the plate right now. Had an RBI on a sac fly last time up. Gomez takes off. Buck's throw is late. Throw to the plate, and Aoki is toast.
Not even close.
Brewers run into an out at home plate.
You can't do that down by 3 runs. I mean, John Buck looked him back. It took him a while to get rid of it to second base. And because of the out at home plate, you're not going to get a stolen base for Carlos Gomez. That's an easy out, a good throw to home plate. He knew he wasn't going to get him at second. He got himself in position to throw, and look how far Aoki is once Buck gets that baseball.
So a runner at second with 2 outs now. And just a case where Aoki is trying to do too much, trying to make too much happen at this point. Ramirez with 5 homers, 25 runs batted in. Missed the first month of the year with a knee injury. There goes Gomez, and a swing and a miss. Gomez ends up at third on a steal. Carlos just running wild right now.
He slides into second base, jumps up about 5 feet, and ends up off the bag. And he didn't get a stolen base at second base. That was a fielder's choice, but number 18 at third base. And Buck relatively slow getting rid of it. There you see him, ready to go. Keep going, Gomez.
2-2 the count on Ramirez.
It's easy to get him going. It's tough to have him stop.
That's right. Gomez came up with the Mets. He was part of the Johan Santana deal. He was one of those prospects that the Twins acquired, trading Santana away. Eventually sent to the Brewers in the J.J. Hardy trade. And has found it. Everything that the Mets thought he would be, everything that the Twins thought he could be, and everything the Brewers thought he could be when they got him, he has emerged as that kind of player. But it has taken him a while. But he's an all-star this year. He's having a great year. And Ramirez draws the walk, so first and third for Milwaukee.
Remember David Henderson, A's and Red Sox?
Yeah.
Played against him. That guy constantly had a smile on his face. I mean, you know, he kind of irritate you, on the other side of the field, but he loves playing the game. He played it with a lot of enthusiasm and always smiling, having a good time. He kind of reminds me of Gomez a little bit. I mean, he loves what he's doing. He loves being a baseball player, being in the big leagues, and very thankful for the opportunity.
Yep. Carlos is one of those infectious personalities. Here's Lucroy with runners at the corners. Now Gomez has a very appropriate nickname. Go-Go is what his teammates call him. And you can tell what kind of personality Gomez has been throughout his career. He's been the way he is now from day one. You hear the folks who cover the Mets who were around when Gomez was in New York. It's the first guy they ask about. How's Carlos doing? Man, we're really happy for him.
Yeah, they liked him.
Same in Minnesota. Brewers have had a lot of traffic in this inning. Had 3 base runners, 2 hits and a walk, a stolen base, and yet there is a 0 on the board at this point. Lucroy trying to change that. 2-2. Lucroy, a flare, and Murphy out in the grass will bring it in for the out. And the Brewers run themselves out of an inning in the third. Wisconsin is brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic, don't just live, shine. Sun setting in Milwaukee. Well, what a great time of year to be in this town right now. Perfect weather. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Not a cloud in the sky. You got Summerfest going on. And the Brewers and the Mets here at Miller Park. Doesn't matter what the records are. This is still one of the great places to spend a summer evening.
No doubt.
I was hanging out watching a batting practice today and did something I usually don't do, Rock. I went up and I sat in the stands just to watch BP, and the breezes were going through. It was very nice. Kind of got in a trance up there for a while. You walk around the concourses here, you can always see the field. It's just a special place.
I've sat here for games. You know, kids have field trips here to the ballpark. You know, my kid's young. Came out here, sat up in the terrace level.
Nice.
And you talk about a different perspective.
Yeah,
Kids don't care. They're at the ballpark. They're not in school and having a good time.
We might have to start scouting out alternate locations for the second half. Bouncing ball to Francisco, and there is out number 1 as we hear from Sophia.
Well, BA, this July, baseball's greatest stars gather for the biggest event of the summer. The Midsummer Classic returns to New York with home field advantage for the World Series on the line. It's the 2013 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, live from New York, July 16th, only on Fox. And tomorrow, of course, we'll find out who we will see at the All-Star Game, and hopefully Carlos Gomez and Gene Segura will be on that list.
An All-Star selection show on Fox. Segura still running third among National League shortstops.
A big announcement tomorrow.
Yeah, the voting is closed. Look forward to the All-Star game. David Wright, he'll be a big part of it, kind of the unofficial host at Citi Field in New York. Comes with some burden. So we've been to the Harley Davidson deck.
Yeah.
You got any other spots maybe you'd like to?
I told you I'd like to go. The Miller Lite Party deck.
Oh yeah, that makes great sense.
That
We end up doing a game by myself.
No. I'd be right there with you. It'll be entertaining for sure.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, back in the old days, we used to do it out for Fridays. We did a few games out there.
It's a good idea.
That would be my vote.
How about Bernie Chalet, Rock?
That might be a little too high for me.
David Wright draws the walk.
Up there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then it feels just like Washington.
And then maybe, Brewers home run. You slide down the slide.
That's not going to happen.
No?
Only Telly slides down the slide on our crew. That'd be a great place. You know, they used to broadcast games from right down there at old Sportsman's Park in St. Louis. Can you imagine Harry Carey and Gabby Street calling games from that level?
You don't see much down there.
There's a line drive into right center. That's going to get down. Aoki cuts it off. And Ike Davis has a couple of hits and a walk in his return to the big leagues. Hellwig in trouble here with 2 on and 1 out.
Well, pitch down in the strike zone. Ike Davis able to hit it out in the end of the gap out there in right field. So first and third, 1 out. That's a good shot, that behind home plate shot. Gives you a sense of what it's like to be up there in the batter's box. Where's Jesse? Jesse's all over the place. Jesse actually mans the camera for the instructionals.
Got to chase you and Davey and Augie around.
Yeah.
As active and.
We'll be doing a live one tonight.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I was told.
Oh, we'll look forward to that. Swinging a foul back. What do you suspect your role will be tonight?
I have no idea what we're doing yet.
Because you got Augie, so you could, there's a lot of pitching stuff you could get into.
Right. You know what we were talking about? Did you read the article that Terry Collins kind of hinted that Zach Wheeler was tipping pitches?
Yes.
In his last start. I think we might have Augie talk about that and help pitchers perhaps tip pitches.
I love that. I think
like
that's
that?
a great idea.
Yeah, I think I'm excited about that.
What was the biggest pitch tipping moment when you were catching? Can you remember anything from a pitcher who was given the pitches away?
Well, more or less it's the release point. And, you know, pitchers typically would have the same release point for every one of their pitches. I mean, that's what makes the great ones great, is the fact that you really can't pick it up. But, you know, you might wrap your glove, you hold your glove in a different spot for a curveball, you know, things like that. The index finger in the glove will stick up on a curveball, perhaps. I mean, you know, certain things that a pitcher will do that, you know, will give away what they're throwing.
Here's Jerry Augustine.
Ogie will break it down. I'll be more or less the moderator. That will be my role.
Nice. 2-2 pitch. Neuenhuis fouls it away.
You know, catchers can give away pitches as well. You know, there are catchers in the big leagues that when you call a fastball with a man on, they'll back up a little bit to make sure that you know, if a runner goes, that if they go out a little bit, they're not going to have the bat hit the glove. You call a curved ball, guys will creep up a couple of inches. You can see that creep up on a breaking ball, and you know, in hopes that you get it before it hits the dirt.
It's amazing what big leaguers can pick up and the little things, and there's so many eyes on them. That was always what was talked about with Ron Renicky when he was a coach with the Angels. He could pick up so many little nuances that helped the club win. And a bouncing ball that will sneak through a base hit. Neuenhuis is having a big night. That's his third RBI, make it his fourth RBI on his second hit, and it is now 6-2 Mets.
Every one of the base hits given up by Hellwig today have been pitches down in the strike zone. And what are the two-seamers or four-seamers? When you're throwing as hard as he is, much easier to get to that pitch down than it is up around the belt or the letters.
So here is Lagares with 2 on, and he chases one out of the strike zone. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Lucroy held it right there for home plate umpire John Hirschbeck.
Yeah, catchers can make pitches that might be marginal, make them look good.
Jam shot, pop up out to Weeks. Infield fly rule called. Lagares is out, and the second out of the inning. So here's John Buck with 2 away. Buck is 0 for 2. Bounced around in his career. I remember Buck when he was coming up through the minor leagues with the Astros. Well, they're talented young catchers. His walk-up music was, remember that song, Big John? That was it. Big John.
And that he is. I remember him as a member of the Royals.
Yep.
He was a Kansas City Royal. He spent most of his service time has been with Kansas City from 2004 to 09. Went to Toronto, then Florida, and now with the Mets.
He was another one of those guys that was a big prospect, traded. It was part of a 3-team trade with the A's and the Astros and the Royals. He was traded from Houston to Kansas City. As that ball gets by Lucroy, both runners will advance on a wild pitch. That was in the Carlos Beltran deal. The Astros acquiring Beltran and all of that. And how great was he in 2004 down the stretch for Houston.
Man, made his name, didn't he?
Certainly did. Buck was part of that unloading of talent by the Marlins after last season. Traded from the Marlins to the Toronto Blue Jays, and then he was only a member of the Blue Jays on paper. He was a Blue Jay for less than a month, and then he was flipped and traded to the Mets in the R.A. Dickey deal. Fly ball right field. Aoki coming in foul territory, and he missed it, and that's a foul ball.
Relatively routine play for Norrie, just overran it. And the inning continues. That could be an error on that play.
Easily. So 3-2 to Buck. Ramirez bobbles, and another run will score. 7-2 Mets. Not a whole lot you can say about this one. This is about as bad as it can get for the Brewers.
This is not a very well played game by the Brew Crew. Really nothing going right so far tonight. Inning should have been over with that foul fly to right. Ramirez not able to handle that hop off his glove, and another run in, and another unearned run on the card of Johnny Hellwig.
So runners at the corners now. And here is Quintanilla. Getting some consistent playing time with the Mets. He's played with the A's and the Rockies. Two outs, 2 runs in. Now Quintanilla with a walk in the second inning. That started the second inning. A leadoff walk. Grounded out his last time up. Two and two. See what Hellwig has in mind here. 2-2. And a fastball fouled away.
And Johnny Hellwig now over 90 pitches here in the 4th inning. It's been a rough start for him once again.
Hasn't exactly gotten a lot of help behind him.
No, he hasn't.
And he was one of the players with a defensive lapse. 2-2. And he zips a fastball inside, ball 3. Runner at first. Buck will get a head start. He takes off. Quintanilla takes ball 4. And the bases are loaded here with 2 outs as we check in with Sophia.
BA, after this weekend series with the Mets, fans can come out to Miller Park as the Brewers host the Cincinnati Reds Monday through Wednesday. For tickets, they can call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Cincinnati continues to play well. Got the no-hitter from Homer Bailey. Johnny Hellwig's night is over. And Tyler Thornburg is next up for the Brewers. So Renicky will take the ball from his big right-hander, and we'll take a timeout. 7-2 Mets. In a rough one, his 2 starts. First one unable to get through the second inning, and now he's unable to get through the 4th. And those are the numbers for Hellwig. Terrible defensive game behind him. 7 runs, only 2 earned tonight. And one prospect to another. Hellwig to Tyler Thornburg.
Thornburg last appeared on Sunday against the Pirates in that 14-inning game. 5 scoreless innings for Tyler Thornburg. Allowed only 2 base hits and 4 strikeouts. Looked very good and was in command of all of his pitches in that outing. And the Brewers need him to eat up some innings here tonight.
So the bases loaded, 2 outs, and the pitcher Wheeler coming up. Thornburg has a good arm. Much different kind of pitcher than Johnny Hellwig. Nearly a foot shorter than Hellwig. And Hellwig kind of smooth and easy at 6'9". Thornburg just the opposite. Wheeler had a base hit, his first major league hit back in the 3rd inning. Also a sacrifice bunt. Mets lead 7-2. And we're only in the 4th. Good block by Lucroy. Wheeler doesn't bite on the curve. Well, he has a good cut.
Yes, he does. He doesn't mess around up there at the plate. Has a good setup, good stance. It seems like he's in control of his swing. Yeah, Thornburg with the big fastball, and he's right on it.
And there's a beautiful breaking ball for a called strike 3. Thornburg strands the bases loaded. 7-2 Mets. We're headed to the bottom of the 4th. Achievers Award will recognize residents throughout the state of Wisconsin each month during the season for displaying extraordinary efforts in their community. All adults and school-age children throughout the state of Wisconsin are eligible. You can participate in the Community Achievers Award program. Miller Park on a Friday night, and as beautiful as the weather is, this game has been just the opposite for the Brew Crew. 7-2, the Mets have the lead. It has been a terrible game defensively for Milwaukee. Hellwig chased in the 4th inning, giving up 7 runs, but only 2 of them earned. Zach Wheeler back on the mound, getting ready to start his 4th inning. The Brewers got 2 against him in the 1st. Both of those were unearned. And he's given up 4 hits thus far. Mets have made an error as well. Wheeler giving up 2 hits and a walk last inning, but the Brewers could not score. Aoki ran into an out at home plate on an attempted double steal. Juan Francisco will lead off. He'll be followed by Weeks and then Schaefer. Big swing and a miss on a good hook from Wheeler.
Yeah, that was a good curveball. Best he's thrown.
Just 23 years of age. He was born in 1990. Rock. How's that make you feel?
Yeah, old.
Me too.
1990, my last year in the big leagues.
He's 23. He's out of Georgia. He was the Giants' first-round draft pick, the 6th overall pick in 09. That was the Steven Strasburg draft. Strasburg went #1 overall that year. Wheeler #6. Traded in 2011 to the Mets. Now the top 6 picks in that draft, only 3 have made it to the majors. Strasburg went #1. Dustin Ackley went #2. And he made it to the big leagues with the Mariners. the next 4 picks until Wheeler made it this year still haven't made it to the major leagues. Oh, that ball's hit deep center field. That is way back, and Francisco sends it up into the camera well. Juan Francisco continues his home run binge.
Didn't even sound like he hit that one right on the sweet spot. That's how strong he is. Boy, he's swinging the bat well. A walk, now a home run.
7-3 Mets.
And this is what Doug Melvin was hoping for with Juan Francisco. Some consistency. He's giving that to him. And starting to drive the baseball a little bit down on the end. And he's still strong enough to hit it way back out in center field. Out there amongst the center field cameras. Everybody all right out there?
I think so. They're a tough bunch. There's a lot of bailing out going on in center field. Ricky Weeks takes a ball. Yeah, those guys don't get many home run balls up there. Francisco is one that can do it.
There's Dwayne. I know he wouldn't leave his camera position.
No, not at all. He stands in there firm. Francisco now with 6 home runs as a Brewer. 2-0 on Ricky Weeks. Ricky was the Brewers player of the month in the month of June. Hit .355 in the month of June. 5 home runs, 9 runs batted in.
And it all came together very quickly for Weeks. Yeah, had some time off with Scooter Gennett. We've told the story before, but I think the time off, not so much the competition, the time to be able to work out and work on his swing helped him. And won his job back. Sent Scooter Gennett back to the minor leagues.
And Scooter Gennett has gone to AAA. And he has been tearing it up down there. He's hitting over 400 since returning to AAA Nashville. Good for him. He's got his batting average up over 300.
Well, he's going to be back. Just a matter of when. Good hitter.
Three and two. And Weeks sends that one in the air to left center. Playable. Lagares for the out. First out of the inning. Got the junior PA announcers going here in this half inning. Announcing Logan Schaefer as the next hitter. Schaefer struck out in the second.
Yeah, had a long battle up there. Ended up striking out on a high fastball. Pitch out of the strike zone. That's certainly a pitch you have to lay off of when you have Wheeler out there throwing the upper 90s. Notice the Mets able to lay off the high fastball from Hellwig. Made him come down in the zone and were able to do their damage. When a guy's throwing that hard, you get the ball up around the belt, it's tough to get to. And as you mentioned, it's tough to lay off of. You see it so well. You see the whole ball. You get that pitch down around the knees, you only see half of it.
And Schaefer a little bit late. Going to bounce foul off the tarp. Yes, there is a tarp here at Miller Park. It's hardly ever used, but it's there. Gotta have it.
Yeah, gotta have it in case the roof doesn't work. And then it rains, you have to roll it out. The Brewers do roll it out, though, from time to time when the team's on the road. The outfield needs some water. Put the tarp out.
Ballpark looks great. Field is in terrific condition. Justin Scott and his crew. Schaefer pulls one right to Ike Davis at first for out number 2. Well, tomorrow's game between the Brewers and the Mets will be on Fox. Giovanni Gallardo up tomorrow against Sean Markham, the former Brewer. I saw Sean before the game. And some talk about his back and whether he'd be able to make that start. He said today he's all right. He's good to go. 2 gone for Tyler Thornburg here in this 4th inning. A former outfielder in college. Thornburg can swing the bat a little bit. There's the matchup tomorrow. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap.
1-9 for Sean Markham, having a rough time of it. Earned run average over 5. Joe needs a bounce back start tomorrow.
Yes, he does. Side retired. Thornburg is out. Juan Francisco gives him something to cheer about. Booming home run into the camera well in center field. And it's 7-3 Mets as we go to the 5th.
Famed car customizer Ryan Friedlinghaus and his West Coast Customs crew continue to take common vehicles from ordinary to extraordinary in West Coast Customs. Don't miss a new episode this Sunday. We also take time now to check in with our Brewers minor league report. News coming down that Tyrone Taylor, an outfielder for the Timber Rattlers, was named minor league player of the month, batting over 400 with 3 home runs, and he added another one tonight, hitting a grand slam to give the Timber Rattlers the 8-6 lead in Cedar Rapids. So he's continuing his great month. And Taylor Youngman, minor league pitcher of the month, a 3-1 record, an ERA just over 1.5 with 17 strikeouts. And guys, the rehab assignment of Alex Rodriguez will also come through the Brewers minor league system. He's scheduled to play this weekend with the Tampa Yankees against the Manatees, a 3-game series starting tomorrow.
All right, Alex Rodriguez continues to try to fight his way back to the big leagues. And speaking of the Yankees, they just beat the Orioles in walk-off style, trailing 2-1 in the 9th. Vernon Wells had the walk-off base hit. Yankees come back to beat the O's 3-2 as Eric Young Jr. bounces out. Thornburg with one away here in the 5th inning.
And Tyler Thornburg has continued to impress here tonight. First 2 hitters able to get. We talked about his appearance against the Pirates in that extra inning game. 5 scoreless innings rather, and And he was using all of his pitches, you know, fastball, curveball, changeup. He was throwing a lot of confidence. Remember last year, Thornburg really struggled here in the big leagues.
Now Thornburg was having a terrible season in AAA in the win-loss column. He couldn't buy a win. He wasn't pitching as poorly as his record. But he has been effective here in the big leagues. And you don't know if it's a change of scenery or what. He's been starting down in AAA. And the Brewers still have him in mind as a big league starter. But for now, he's getting his innings in a long relief role out of the bullpen now that Donovan Hand is in the rotation. He's a terrific athlete, Thornburg. Played his college ball at Charleston Southern University in South Carolina and was a center fielder there.
I guess it answers the question as to who would pitch if Willie Peralta would not be able to make his start on Sunday. Brewers have not announced whether Willie's going to make a start, so it's not going to be Thornburg, that's for sure.
Well, he's got a great opportunity here in the big leagues. Thornburg last year between Huntsville and Nashville AA and AAA was a 10-game winner. 10-4 with a 3.20 ERA. This year 0-9 in 15 starts. But he's been a big winner in his career. Twice he has won in double digits in the minor leagues, which is tough to do in a minor league schedule.
Yeah, 0-9, you just got to wonder how much of that is mental for Thornburg. You mentioned he really hadn't pitched as poorly as 0-9 would indicate, but still, you go out there with that kind of record. I mean, that gets into your head a little bit. I think maybe getting a change of scenery here in the big leagues, a fresh start.
Fly ball into left field. Easy enough for Schaefer. And 2 quick outs for Thornburg in the 5th.
That's what we're talking about. 3-2 curveball, able to get Murphy. Good pitch. That was the problem that Thornburg had last year. Really couldn't throw the breaking pitch over for strikes. That's why he gave up so many home runs. Getting behind in the count, coming in with that fastball that's relatively straight. He's got, you know, good stuff on it, but when you're straight with a fastball, you really don't have much command of off speed. Guys are going to get to you.
David Wright late on a fastball. Thornburg had some big innings in that 14-inning loss on Sunday against the Pirates. Thornburg went 5 scoreless in that game, giving up just 2 hits. And they're probably going to ask a lot out of him here tonight, so it's going to feel like a start for him. Hellwig taken out with 2 outs in the 4th. There's a curveball inside, 2-1 to right. Made his major league debut a year ago in June of 2012. His debut against the Blue Jays. Wright lines it right field line. Aoki is sliding up against the wall. That's a foul ball.
In that game, Tyler Thornburg took over for Kyle Loesch. Loesch went an inning and 2/3. The rains came 2.5 hours later. It was Thornburg that continued, and man, he was outstanding.
We welcome you from Miller Park. Hope you're having a great holiday weekend. Independence Day yesterday. Brewers and the Mets tonight. Hadn't been a pretty picture on the field today for the Brew Crew. They trail 7-3. Still a lot of time left. Thornburg trying to settle things down on the mound. One thing you like about Thornburg, he gets it and goes. He is on red alert on the mound. Works quickly. Throws strikes. Full count to David Wright. And he got a fastball inside corner, well placed. 3 up and 3 down inning. First of the night for the Brew Crew as Thornburg pins one on the corner to strike out David Wright.
On the Mets at 1:10 p.m. and all fans in attendance will receive a Hank Aaron bobblehead. Compliments of U.S. Cellular. Tickets are still available, so visit Brewers.com and don't take my word for it. Here's a special PSA from your favorite Brewers on Hank Aaron.
Hey Brewers fans, got some bobbleheads available for Sunday's game. Come out, buy a ticket, and you get one for free. Let's go.
ファンの皆さん、日曜日の試合に、来たら、このハンク・アーロンのバブルヘッドがもらえます。ぜひ来てください。
Now, Rock, I only speak Spanish, so I'm going to need you to tag in here and translate Aoki's message, but pretty sure he wants fans to come out and get that Hank Aaron bobblehead.
Yeah, what he said was he really liked the bobblehead. He hoped to get more, and hope that's going to be a sellout. He's going to have a good game.
And don't forget, he finished by saying, "Have a nice day."
Right.
And say hello to Bill and Rock in the booth, Brian and Rock in the booth, and hope to see you Sunday. Bring your sunscreen. Slap ground ball out to short. Quintanilla with a nice play. Out number 1. Well, the Powerball home run leaderboard updated. Yuni Betancourt hit a home run yesterday. Ricky Weeks had one in Washington as well. Carlos Gomez had that big 2-run homer yesterday that tied the game. He's the club leader in that category. Segura sitting on 11. And are those two all-star bound, Gomez and Segura?
And we'll know tomorrow before the game. 5:30 Central Time. The selection show.
Brewers will play a series against the Reds here at Miller Park, and then a 4-game series in Arizona as Segura lines one to center field, a base hit. Segura's first hit of the night. He's 1 for 3. So 3 series remaining before the All-Star break.
That breaking pitch, Segura stays right on it. Well done. Right back through the middle. The Brewers have had a base runner in every inning. Not a bad pitch, and a good hitter able to bang it in center field. That's a nice approach.
Great look at it as well. Hung right in there. When a lot of guys are bailing.
Especially when the guy is throwing a fastball in the upper 90s.
Here is Gomez. He's had a terrific night at the plate. Doubled in a run in the first. He scored. Then had an infield hit and a stolen base in the third. doing some damage to his old team. He still has a lot of friends in the Mets system that he came up with.
If you're Segura, you're still thinking about a stolen base. That's his game, and it seems to be the Brewers' game these days with the power shortage. Well, the guys that are hurt, they get into scoring position, let Gomez drive you in.
Gomez whistles one to left, a base hit, and Segura into second base. Carlos Gomez, a 3-hit night,
and he got a breaking pitch. So Wheeler trying to mix in the breaking ball up by a few runs, a 5-run lead. Make that a 4-run lead. Slider down in the strike zone, down and in, and he golfs it just out of the reach of David Wright into left field.
Two on with one out, and here is Aramis Ramirez. Well, a long ball here would change things. Inside, he busted him in there with a fastball. Aramis walked his last time up. Does not have an official at bat tonight. He had a sac fly in the first. 2 plate appearances, 0 at bats. Sac fly and a walk. Don't count on your line.
No official at bat, but an RBI. They're looking at driving another right here.
Brewers need a big hit. Thornburg has it settled down on the mound. He's retired 4 straight. Wheeler's given up 7 hits at this point. Ramirez, a good fastball hitter. You don't drive in the runs he has and be the kind of run producer that he's been over the course of his career without being able to hit the big velocity guys, the pitchers that throw in the mid to upper 90s.
And ordinarily, a lot of his damage as far as home runs go, at least last year and the year before, first pitch fastball. So when he goes up there looking heater, and you have to do this against Wheeler, he throws too hard to be looking off speed. He'll look for one. If he gets one, he's going to give it a pretty good ride.
It's David Ardsma in the bullpen.
Ardsma just got called up.
Well, he's another guy that has a big arm. He's been a closer in the major leagues. Remember, the Mets played a 15-inning game yesterday, so their bullpen a little beat up. They had to go to their minor league system. Promoted Greg Burke as well. Two on, one out. 7-3 Mets. A lot of speed on the bags right now, and that one's high and tight. And Aramis Ramirez will draw the walk, and the bases are loaded for Lucroy, and Van Warthen is out to have a chat with his right-hander, the pitching coach of the Mets. Well, that's a no-no in a big lead like this. Now the Brewers, with one swing of the bat, can start to chip away.
Third walk issued. And second to Ramirez, and John Lucroy all of a sudden represents a tying run. Well, he came on the air saying that Wheeler and Hellwig clones of each other in a lot of ways, and neither one of them very sharp tonight.
Wheeler making his 4th major league start tonight. He's given up 4 home runs now. Francisco got him in the fourth. Long ball here. We're tied up. Base hit should score 2 if it touches the outfield. And a fastball upstairs. Lucroy with a couple of grand slams in his career. He's put up great numbers with bases loaded. That one's in there. I was talking to Terry Collins before the game. He said one of the things he has challenged Zach Wheeler with last time out against the Nationals, he got in trouble. He started throwing a lot of two-seam fastballs. He was trying to get double plays. He wants Wheeler to use his big fastball and get strikeouts.
Well, he's doing it right now, but having a rough time finding the plate with it. Not really close against Ramirez, and he's missed badly to Lucroy a couple of times.
Lucroy in a hitter's count in a big spot. It's been a rough start to this game for the Brewers, but one swing of the bat could turn this one around quickly. And Lucroy pops it up. Shallow center. Segura's tagging. The catch is made and will force a throw. The second out in the inning. That's a big out for Wheeler. Bases remain loaded with 2 outs.
Lucroy did a nice job getting the count in his favor. Laid off a high fastball. It's a tough pitch to lay off of, and then Wheeler throws a strike on the outer half. And next pitch up and in, and then Lucroy in the driver's seat looking fastball, gets fastball and pops it up. A good pitch to hit. And the center fielder Lagares able to make the play.
So 2 outs now, and here is Francisco. Francisco went deep in the fourth. He hit a long one out of here. Yeah, there's a pretty good chance he's going to be swinging for the yards.
It's only natural with the sacks loaded. And you know he's going to get a fastball.
Bases loaded, 2 gone. Francisco was late. Ball and a strike. Take you back to the 4th inning. Francisco on a fastball away. Launched one out of here. Deep center field up into the camera well. Powerball home run number 6 as a Brewer. His 11th overall. First 5 came as a member of the Atlanta Braves. Francisco looking for a mistake. Ooh, had a big cut. Fouls it back 1 and 2.
Yeah, Wheeler got in on him a little bit. That's what you do with big, strong power hitters. They like to get their arms extended. And
Dwayne Rodriguez still has the baseball from that home run.
No chance that's a home run ball.
You think he's bringing a decoy?
Oh, he does. I know him. Been around a long time.
Oh, I trust him. I trust him.
Nah, you don't know him like I do.
1 and 2 the count. And a strike called right down the middle. Francisco strikes out. The Brewers strand the bases loaded in the 5th. tells it all at this point. It has been a rough one for the Brewers, trying to fight their way out of this. Then some poor defense. Brewers just stranding the bases loaded. Each club with 7 hits thus far. One of the bright spots has been Tyler Thornburg. He came on for Hellwig in the 4th. He's retired his 4 batters faced, has a couple of strikeouts as well, and he's ready to go here in the 6th. Ike Davis leads off. Davis in his return from the minor leagues with 2 hits and a walk. He scored a run. He's driven in a run. That came on an infield hit, part of a 3-run second inning. The shift is on for Ike Davis. Brewers have 3 infielders on the right side. Probably won't find a team that shifts more than Milwaukee. Davis actually benefited from that shift in the 2nd inning. Had a little dribbler off the bat that went into no man's land between the pitcher and the 3rd baseman Ramirez. Infield hit and an RBI for him in that 2nd. Payoff pitch. Davis takes a call at strike 3. Thornburg just attacking, and he punches him out. And that is his 3rd strikeout.
You're talking about carving up the inside corner when it was supposed to be away. Doesn't matter if it's supposed to be there. It was. Lucroy setting up outside and caught it right on the inside corner. What's 17 inches amongst friends?
That's what I'm saying. The width of the plate.
You got that.
Now, I'm with you. You haven't lost me yet.
A lot of times, you know, an umpire's not going to call it when a guy misses by the entire width of the plate, but John Hirschbeck right on it.
The eagle eyes of the umpires. Sure, it is a little bit awkward, though, to see a catcher reach across like that. And not only does Lucroy reach across, he kind of twists his body.
Holds it there nicely, made it look good.
That's what you got to do. The art of framing. It's a very subtle thing, but it is a very important aspect of the position of catching. Neuenhuis draws a 4-pitch walk. First base runner allowed by Thornburg. How were your framing skills in your catching days, Rock? Probably pretty good.
I thought they were pretty good. I was considered to be a decent defensive catcher. I had a lot of time to work on it down in the bullpen.
Did you ever frame pitches down in the bullpen?
Absolutely. Block pitches down there. And you know, Larry Haney back in the old days, he was the bullpen coach. He was a catcher in the big leagues. So back in those days, Larry would, you know, warm a guy up if we needed 2 pitchers were up. He would not be in full gear, and he would not be blocking pitches. We had some guys down in the bullpen that were a bit wild.
Those were your draws.
Back in the old days, yeah. Well, of course, back in the old days at County Stadium.
Neuenhuis takes off. Lucroy's throw is not in time. A stolen base.
And the bullpen was up a level, you know, from the field.
Uh-huh.
I'd block a ball, go off the shin guard. Routinely, there'd be balls falling out on the field.
And that's how I got the nickname Rock.
Not my fault.
No. Just doing the best you can.
That'll be a stolen base.
And now Thornburg has lost his command the last 2 hitters. He's thrown 7 consecutive balls. There's a strike. Thornburg certainly hoping to make a case for himself, ultimately in the starting rotation. And that's going to skip away from Lucroy. It's ball 4. Second consecutive walk, and on the play, Nieuwenhuis goes to third. And now the Mets threatening again. First and third, 1 out. And John Buck coming up.
May figure that's going to be a wild pitch. Ball in the dirt. Catcher always fooled with a fastball down in the dirt. You don't expect it, and it's tough to get down when it's coming in with such velocity. And Nieuwenhuis able to get to third base.
Brett Kranitz out having a chat with Thornburg. Brewers are getting healthier in their starting rotation. And Sophia has more on a couple of guys who are trying to fight their way back to the big leagues.
Well, BA, some mixed news coming out of Arizona, where Marco Estrada and Alfredo Figueroa are continuing their rehab. Now, Estrada, Ron Renicky said, is stretched out and he's throwing at about 140 feet right now, but his hamstring continues to give him trouble, especially in the bullpen when he's throwing his off-speed pitches. So until he can get through a bullpen without any tightness there, they're going to back him off. So he's a ways away from any minor league rehab starts. And Alfredo Figueroa, though, good news, is making great progress with his oblique strain. Ron Renicky said he's hoping he'll be available for that final series before the All-Star break in Arizona.
All right, thanks, Sophia. And the Brewers are hoping they caught that early enough. Normally an oblique strain turns into a month on the disabled list, maybe more. And the Brewers are hoping they got to that quickly.
And so does a hamstring. That's why I think they're going to be cautious with Willie Peralta. I think they caught that just in the nick of time.
First and third, 1 out on a couple of walks. Runner goes. Lucroy's throw to second, right on the bag, and out is the call. Lagares cut down for out number 2.
Yeah, Luke's been throwing the baseball well. I mean, he has been very quick with his release. Throws right on the bag. A good pitch to throw on up and in, and look at this. Ricky Weeks just has to drop the glove, and Lagares an easy out at second base. He's not even in the shot yet.
And Buck has his knees buckled. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. Thornburg breaking ball is a good one tonight. Mets lead 7-3. Thornburg trying to keep it that way, as Buck slaps one up the middle, a base hit. Thornburg hung it, and Buck lines one to center, an RBI single with 2 outs, and it's now 8-3 Mets.
Yep, hitters say hang him, I'll bang him, and that's what happened right there. Hasn't hung too many curveballs tonight. Got one upstairs and shot it right back into center field. Up around the belt, and hitters see that pitch well, and Buck able to drive in that run with 2 outs.
That's the 8th hit for the Mets, and there's a strike to Quintanilla. Quintanilla, a couple of walks tonight. He scored a run. And that breaking ball is starting to miss upstairs for Thornburg. Coming this way, Rock.
I'm ready. Got my glove up here tonight.
Yeah. It's a nice glove.
See? Got it.
Oh, this is your Dwayne Rodriguez impression.
See the illusion?
Catch,
see the illusion?
I see.
He's a master of the illusion.
No
out
wonder
there.
You're so suspicious.
Yeah. getting ready for the instructional tonight.
There's his ball. Everybody gets a ball.
See, you don't know this, but back in the old days at County Stadium, he'd be back there. He and Rick Bruck.
Right.
Foul ball, go back there, and he'd like hold a tennis ball up, and then the next time be a bowling ball, and he would. Just ask him.
Runner takes off. Quintanilla in the left field. And Schaefer with room. He's got it in fair territory. Baseballs for everyone tonight. 8-3 Mets. Sausages. We missed him on the road trip. Chorizo starting to kick it in gear. You know, he's a summer sausage there.
Yeah. The hotter it gets, the better he likes it.
And as much as I enjoyed the President's races, you know, it's just not quite the same as the original.
Yeah.
A lot of chicanery with the President's races. They always have like a little bit. Unlike this deal where it's legit. Everybody's running hard.
You don't need all the fun and frivolity. It's you know, kind of try and make up different little contests for the presidents, and don't need that here with the Clements famous racing sausages.
And their profile is raising this year. David Aardsma is the next Mets pitcher. Wheeler is out. 8-3 New York as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning.
He got called up today from the minor leagues, and before he got sent down, 13 appearances and a 284 earned run average. Good numbers from Aardsma. Only 2 home runs. He has been around a while, and he started out with the Giants.
Ricky Weeks leading off for the Brewers. Bottom of the order coming up. See if Renicky allows Thornburg to hit, or if he goes to a pinch hitter. Guess it all depends on what's going on the bases.
I don't see anybody getting loose in that Brewers bullpen. That could be the first hint. Nothing happening out there right now.
Schaefer preparing for his next time up. Thornburg hanging in the dugout behind him.
And Brewers bullpen a bit thin. A lot of activity, a lot of usage, and it's been that way for a while. Another short start tonight.
Ron Renicky was telling us before the game he had 3 pitchers that were down yesterday, not available. And we speculated as much with the double switches. Renicky rarely makes double switches. But when he does, he's trying to get multiple innings out of pitchers.
Yeah, double switched late in the game, taking Gomez out, and it was one of those things where you kind of shake your head, wonder why. Gomez had a bit of an issue, but he's all right tonight. There was a reason why Ron Renicky makes a move, and a lot of times you don't know it at the time, but once you find out, it makes sense.
Right. As a strike called, Weeks is down on strikes for the first out of the 6th inning. Renicky was telling us the story today about the art of the double switch, and you see it so often in the National League. Sometimes managers do it no matter what when they get to a specific spot in the batting order, but Renicky learned his philosophy from Joey Amalfitano, who longtime coach for the Los Angeles Dodgers, probably most known for the scouting report to Kirk Gibson. There's a nice play by Davis, and Logan Schaefer is just out. Aardsma just got a foot in there, hustling all the way Schaefer, but a good play by Davis to Aardsma for out number 2. Now, Joey Amalfitano was the third base coach during the Kirk Gibson 1988 World Series home run, that famous home run off Dennis Eckersley. He's the one that gave him the scouting report that Eckersley likes to throw backdoor breaking balls with 2 strikes to left-handed hitters, and as Kirk Gibson rounded third base, that famous line he was saying, "Backdoor breaking ball, Joey, backdoor breaking ball."
That was back in the days they didn't have the extensive scouting reports like they do now.
And that was, anyway, Amalfitano was telling Renicky, teaching Renicky about the double switch, and he says you really get yourself pinned if you do it too often. The only time you should ever do it is when you want multiple innings out of your relief pitcher. So I would say Renicky probably uses the double switch fewer than any other National League managers. So that's what raised all of the questions yesterday when he did it twice in yesterday's game.
That's the only time it really makes sense, when you want to extend your relief pitcher. I mean, why do it? You kind of pigeonhole yourself into using a hitter in a certain spot. You don't need to do that unless you want to use your pitcher for more than 1 inning.
Well, Aardsma 3 up, 3 down, 6. We go to the 7th. By the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly, and by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Beautiful lights, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Well, that's a great shot. Summerfest going on.
It's winding down now. What's Sunday, the last day, right?
Yep. Yep.
A lot of folks filing into the Summerfest grounds this year.
Tyler Thornburg back on the mound. He came on in the 4th inning. So 2 1/3 for Thornburg. He's given up 1 run. And out for the 7th. Marlon Byrd's going to pinch hit. Byrd normally a starter, and he's having a great year. Just got a night off from the starting lineup tonight. Byrd with 12 home runs, 41 runs batted in. He's hitting .263. It looked like his career was coming to an abrupt halt. He had a performance-enhancing drug suspension, and things did not go well when he came back. Ended up with Boston last year. But he has found it once again with the New York Mets. That ball is hit high and deep right center field. Gomez at the wall. He leaps and he makes the catch. Carlos Gomez does it again.
Man, he does that. I tell you. You could just tell that he was lining himself up to make that jump and pulls one back. That would have been a home run. I'm not sure what he prefers to do, hit home runs or take away home runs. And he has this one ticketed all the way. He knows exactly where he is on that fence. Jumps up and makes the catch. Look at the smile on his face. I mean, he comes to the ballpark just dreaming about making catches like that. And he made one tonight. Look at the smile.
Yeah, what a play. That is worth the price of the ticket to watch this guy play. What a night he's had against his former club. Gomez has 3 hits tonight, 2 singles and a double, a stolen base, an RBI, and
he's thinking going back, yes, I've been hoping for one of these, and yep, I got it.
Nicely done. He's a star is what he is, and he's hopefully headed to New York as an all-star. What a as a bouncer to third. That's off Ramirez. Segura barehands it. Throws for fun. No chance you're going to get Eric Young. So EY Jr. is aboard.
And right at Ramirez. Couple of hops and right off the glove. It's probably going to be another error, but we'll see.
It would be the 3rd error, the 2nd on Ramirez tonight. And here's Daniel Murphy. But for Carlos Gomez, just think about if he does make the All-Star team, and he should. If he does make it and he goes back to New York, and I understand it's not Shea Stadium where he played, but back in the home of the Mets where it all started for him. Made it to the big leagues with the Mets as a 21-year-old back in '07. Traded away after that first year in the major leagues to the Twins. Pretty special symbolic moment if he does return to New York as an all-star with the Brewers.
You think about his numbers when you add them up with last year's second half. Last year's second half, this first half, and that's a pretty good season that he's put together.
Eric Young steals second base. There once was a day when stealing bases with an 8-3 lead was frowned upon, but I don't think that's the case anymore.
And not these days. 5-run leads disappear quickly these days for everybody.
One and two on Murphy. Segura backhands it, got a long throw and dug out by Francisco. Nicely done. 6-3 put out. Well done on both ends for out number 2. Well, the first out in this inning. Our Marshfield Clinic shining moment. Carlos Gomez. This is like hitting a home run right here. He takes one away from Marlon Byrd. Beautifully done. Starting to become commonplace. He just has a great feel for the walls here at Miller Park. Perfectly timed jump.
And he works on that. He works on that every day. And it can't be as smooth as Gomez is going back on a ball like that. Knowing exactly where he is on that warning track, and without working on it every single day in batting practice.
Well, David Wright is going to be walked here with 2 away. So 2 on, an intentional walk to get to Ike Davis. Thornburg pitching in his 4th inning. He's given up 3 walks now after the intentional pass to David Wright. And there's a hook in there for a strike on Davis. Two on, 2 away. Outside ball 1. Brewers will wrap up this series with the Mets Sunday. That's a day game Sunday, and then the Reds come to town. Mets, Reds, Diamondbacks before the All-Star break, and that series in Arizona is a 4-gamer. Brewers open the second half after the All-Star break here at Miller Park against the Marlins. Three and 2. Like Thornburg just took a little off that pitch. Wasn't a changeup, but it wasn't his best fastball either. Came in at 90 miles an hour. Full count, 2 outs, and Davis ropes one into right field. Aoki is there. Line drive out. 2 runners stranded.
rookies on the mound tonight for each team, and Johnny Hellwig and Zach Wheeler have just a handful of starts between them. But tonight on our AT&T Twitter poll, we were asking Brewers fans which National League rookie starting pitcher is having the best debut season. Split results, 39% said Shelby Miller of the Cardinals, 28% Jose Fernandez of the Marlins, and 22% Garrett Cole of the Pirates. So, BA, great to hear from Brewers fans, and we'll see. It'll be interesting to follow the careers of Hellwig and Wheeler as they get further into their careers as well.
All right, Sophia, thank you. And some good arms right there. We'll see Fernandez when the Marlins come to town. Dodgers starting to put it together as well, and Ryu's a big part of it. Jack Greinke and Clayton Kershaw and Ryu. That's a pretty good 1-2-3 if the Dodgers could fight their way back. They're right there in the hunt right now in the National League West.
Yep, 3.5 back. They've won 8 of the last 10 and 4 games under 500.
Greg Burke is the new pitcher. He was just promoted. The Mets designated for assignment Brandon Lyon today promoted Greg Burke from the minor leagues. And Aoki shoots one under the glove of Davis. Nori Aoki having a great night at the plate. 3 hits.
Yeah, the side armor not as effective against left-handed bats as he is against right-handers. Aoki not wasting any time picking on a pitch down in the strike zone and shooting it by Ike Davis. And that natural movement. Pitch stays inside, and Aoki able to get the big part of the bat on it and drive it into right field.
Here's Segura now. And there's a ball high. I'll tell you, it is amazing how Nori Aoki can somehow get the bat to the ball. Watch this position of impact here. He's essentially has his hands way and pulled in. He's on his tiptoes. That's just somehow figuring out. He has tremendous hand-eye coordination. All these guys do, but he is even at a higher level than most big league, big league hitters.
Yeah, that's the thing about Aoki. He uses his hands very well. Every hitter will use their hands, but Aoki is just about all hands. I mean, a lot of times he'll get hits when he has both feet off the ground. I mean, he could look so bad on a couple of pitches, completely fooled, and then that third pitch, he drives that ball into center field. And you don't figure Aoki to try and steal a base here down by 5 runs, but you never know.
2-1 on Segura. Caught a hairball here, Rock.
Yeah, right. What you been eating over there? I've been there. Difference is I'm allowed to stay quiet. When I get quiet, people just think I'm upset.
That explains it.
Yeah. All right now.
A slight allergy falling on the vocal cord.
I got some cough drops here.
Broadcaster's pine tar.
We need one.
Cough drop.
We got
I'm going to need a couple, I think.
Honey lemon.
And a glue stick.
Right there. Go ahead.
Some 3-1 oil. Bouncing ball to second. And they get the out at second base. No chance to turn it on Segura. So Aoki is out. Fielder's choice for Segura with Gomez coming up. Gomez with 3 hits tonight. Got a double and an RBI with a run scored in the first inning. A couple of singles after that. A stolen base at the plate presented by Wendy's.
I tell you, these two guys, Segura and Gomez, are becoming guys that are worth the price of admission. I mean, watching them play at the level that they're playing just about every day.
Gomez hits that one hard. Deep center field. Back is Lagares over his head. Bounces off the wall. Gomez trucking around second. on his way to third. Run will score. The tag is out. At third base, Gomez gunned down, trying to stretch it into a triple.
And not a good idea. Not down by 5 runs. Scorer able to score on the RBI double. Gets thrown out at third base as Gomez. And, you know, as enthusiastic as you want to be, you got to understand the game situation. At that point, he was down by 4 runs, 8-4. And making outs on the bases, a no-no. And he's out easily at third base.
It'll be a double and an RBI for Gomez, and a good relay from Lagares to Murphy to David Wright. Brewers have shot themselves in the foot on a number of occasions with their base running today. Aoki was cut down at the plate. Gomez running into an out at third base.
If you stay put and you hope that Ramirez drives one out of the ballpark. He does. You're down by 2.
Over to third, Wright, former Gold Glove Award winner, makes a play to end the inning. So the Brewers get a run. Gomez has a 4-hit night. 8-4 Mets. Tyler Thornburg picking up some strikeouts tonight. Thornburg came in the 4th inning, struck out Ike Davis. And Thornburg against David Wright put a fastball on the inside corner. So far tonight, Tyler Thornburg with 3 strikeouts, 3 1/3 innings for him. He's back out there for the 8th. 8-4 Mets. And Thornburg giving the Brewers a good long outing here, and with every inning he picks up, that saves the bullpen for another day.
And no off days for the Brewers until after the All-Star break, or until after that Arizona series, that 4-game series in Arizona. All-Star break, the next off day for Milwaukee.
Well, if the Brewers can get through this game using just 2 pitchers, that'll be a huge bonus. Hellwig started. Hard to figure his outing tonight. Hellwig certainly didn't have much defense behind him. The Brewers playing very poorly defensively in this game. But Hellwig was part of that as well. He had a miscue on the mound on a defensive play that probably could have turned into a double play and moved him along in the game. So he gave up 7 runs tonight, but only 2 of them were earned. He's got a great future, Hellwig, and he's going to have a lot of success in the big leagues. You just can see it with the way he goes about his business. He's off to a very rough start in his first 2 starts and 3 outings.
Yeah. Well, it's going to turn around for him. I mean, he's got too good of stuff out there to continue to struggle.
That ball is hammered down the right field line. Neuenhuis with extra bases. And he's thinking about third, but he'll shut it down and settle for a double. Neuenhuis with 3 hits and 2 walks. Been on base all 5 times tonight. And he's driven in 3 runs in this game. Toyota game summary. Neuenhuis with 4 runs batted in. Zach Wheeler started, went 5, gave up 3 runs. Only 1 of those was earned. And Gomez with a 4-for-4 game. He's also robbed a Met from a home run, Marlon Byrd.
Yeah, runner in scoring position. The Mets are only 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position tonight. Make that 4 for 14.
And Lagares a base hit. They're going to send the runner. Here comes the throw from Aoki. It's up the line. And it's now 9-4 as Lagares drives in his 2nd run of the night.
Nothing doing in that Brewers bullpen, so this is Tyler Thornburg's inning. The Brewers have to figure out a way to give some of these guys in the pen some relief, some days off. They've been hard to come by. They have worked a lot, but they have been very good. But you don't expect that to continue if they continue to be worked like they have. And Brewers need to start putting together some long starts. Had a long one in there in Washington with Kyle Oates going 8 innings.
And that starts again tomorrow with Gallardo, who will take the ball looking for a bounce back. He's had a couple of rough starts for Milwaukee. Mets have 9 runs on 10 hits after playing 15 innings last night or yesterday afternoon, drifting into the night, and a loss to the Diamondbacks. They've come out banging away here tonight. John Buck has a hit and an RBI. 2 RBIs actually tonight for Buck.
Yeah, 9 runs for the Mets. 6 of them are unearned runs. That's what hurts. That's a killer.
And Buck is hit by a pitch. Thornburg might be tiring a bit. 2 hits and a hit batter to start this 8th inning. Lucroy out having a chat with Thornburg. Our Ho-Chunk Gaming text question tonight. Beth in Cudahy wants to know, how do you teach a catcher to frame a pitch? We were having that discussion earlier.
Well, I mean, the idea of framing is just that. You know, you have a picture, and that's the strike zone, and the framing is the way you catch the pitch. So you always want to catch a pitch on the outside corner with the fingers out so you can bring them around. You don't want to move your glove. You don't want to catch it and then move your whole arm. What you want to do is just rotate the glove. You see the way Lucroy is able to do that. On a pitch on the other side of the plate, you catch it just the other way with the fingers facing third base. On a high pitch, fingers up, low pitch, fingers down. And that way you just with your wrist able to bring the pitch and frame it around the confines of the strike zone. But the only way to learn how to do that is to catch.
It takes good soft hands, loose hands to do that. And the good ones will take a pitch that you know is going to be called a ball, that maybe is, let's say, 3 inches outside, and you go ahead and just take that one away, make that a ball. And then a pitch that might be 2 inches outside. We're only talking about an inch between the pitches, but then that's when you would stick the landing basically and catch it firmly, snap it, and hold it right there. So that really gives the visual image to the umpire that while one pitch is going to be a ball and you're taking it away and you just kind of catch it with a sweeping motion, the ones that you stick are close.
But you can't cry wolf behind home plate.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
You can't be framing a pitch that's 4 inches outside. I mean, the umpire is just going to, you know, forget about it.
Ricky Weeks to the bag at second, throws off balance. Wow, that was some kind of play by Weeks. And a really good decision by Thornburg to keep his glove down and allow that double play to take place. Strong arm by Ricky Weeks.
Yep, steps on the bag, jumps up, and gets something on the throw. You got to have a strong throw to be able to do that. Throw the baseball while you're in midair. And Ricky Weeks certainly athletic enough to make that play. Thornburg, if he gets a glove on it, knocks it down, he doesn't get anybody. And he knew that Ricky was going to be there, and he's able to turn the double play. And Luke Roy saying to Thornburg, good decision.
Greg Burke. Terry Collins trying to get some multiple innings out of Greg Burke, allowing him to swing the bat. Just checking, doing a quick search on Greg Burke. This is his first career major league at bat. I wasn't sure. He spent a little time in the big leagues with the Padres in 09. But this is it. First time he's had a bat in his hands at the major league level. A relief pitcher. Wonder whose bat he's using. He just got here from Las Vegas. Active today for the first time.
Guarantee it's not David Wright's bat.
He's using Jeremy Hefner's bat, one of the Mets pitchers.
How do you know that?
The bat? There's a 53 on the knob.
Oh, I didn't see that. I'm sorry.
But he does have a helmet that has his number on it, so some good equipment managing down there. Everybody knows what Jeremy Hefner's bat looks like, Rock. I mean, that's why it's headed to Cooperstown. It's easily recognizable from miles and miles away. See there, 53.
All right. Good eyes.
Makes contact. Weeks will make the play. Inning over. So Thornburg's able to get through that inning. He does give up a run, but he's able to finish off the Mets in the 8th.
Fans here at Miller Park trying to energize the crew for a comeback. Telehughes, Jerry Augustine getting you set for Brewers Live post game. And Augie, this game really started off with Johnny Hellwig struggling.
You know, Kelly, there's a fine line between a young pitcher and a baseball game. Is when you go out there, are you dictating the game or are you getting dictated to? And tonight it just seems like Hellwig went out there and he just let the game dictate to him rather than going out there being aggressive and throwing strikes.
Well, we'll have much more on Hellwig coming up on Brewers Live post-game. Also, we will have Spotlight Brewers Draft following tonight's game on Fox Sports Wisconsin. You'll get inside access to the entire draft process, and you'll go inside the Brewers War Room on draft night. It's Spotlight Brewers Draft, debuting immediately after Augie and I conclude Brewers Live tonight. BA and Rock.
All right, thanks a lot, Telly and Augie. Like Augie, he's got his retro Friday tie on. Did you notice that?
I did.
He's got the little mini ball and glove logos. That's a sweet tie he's sporting. You got to look really close, though. You got to dial in there a little bit. Lucroy leads off.
I know, and you do that because you saw that 53 on the
Right.
first bat.
Exactly.
I mean, you're locked in.
I'm paying attention to the little things, Rock.
Yes, you are. Good for you.
Keep your head down. Dig it out of the dirt, as they say. Keep your head down. Juan Francisco next up. We're only looking ahead. Some good sports psychology in there somewhere. I've had this Bruce Fleming bobblehead staring at me all night. It's the one they gave up, at the Lakeshore Chinooks game. So Bruce brought in a whole bag full of them today.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I put him in a place. It's a nice representation of Bruce, but I just realized that I put it in a spot where it's a little bit creepy that he's kind of staring at me.
You think it looks like Bruce? I don't. Look at Bruce. Well, a slimmed down version
it's
of
yeah, it's a little tight.
the Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's just kind of.
I have mine over here too, and it just kind of reminds me, to not be too hard on the umps.
Yeah.
He's kind of looking at me, saying, "You're really not going to go there, are you?" Keeps me.
I feel the same way.
Keeps me honest.
Francisco ropes one back up the middle of base hit. So a man on with one out, and let's check in with Sophia.
Brewers fans can enroll in a world-class experience this summer as Quick Trip presents the inaugural year of the Brewers Baseball Academy. These instructional kit camps are coming to a city near you. Visit brewers.com/camps today. So send your kiddos to the Brewers Baseball Academy, and then mom and dad can head to Arizona for Brewers Fantasy Camp with Rock. And Rock, I hear you're doing some recruiting for Fantasy Camp among our crew this year.
Yeah, I think that we have a couple of folks down in the truck that have been telling me that they're quite the baseball player, and we're going to see how that all pans out. I heard someone else say that a few years ago. Guy to my left here kind of ate those words after a while.
Just the pain and suffering was too much to overcome.
Well, I think they used you a little bit too much too
early. I do
early.
believe they weren't protecting my innings, Rock.
Those 12 innings in the first 2 days.
First time I picked up a ball in 12 years.
Right.
Don Money's got me going 12 innings on the mound. You got one more, right?
Cecil Cooper is going to be down there. Gantner, Gorman, Eddie Cedar, of course, Jerry Augustine, myself, and a cast of about 100 folks, campers and coaches. We got the reunion weekend coming up. Not actually a weekend, but a Thursday and Friday, August 1st and 2nd. August 1st is a day off here for the Brewers at Miller Park, and we have our reunion game on the field here.
All part of the package.
Yep, and then next day you get introduced before the Brewers game. Fun had by all.
Yeah, it's a great time. Really is. It'll humble you. There's a swing and a miss. Weeks strikes out. 2 outs.
Yeah, that reunion game where you get introduced on the field is a Friday night, and the Washington Nationals are in town.
Oh, the fantasy campers get to play the Nationals.
No.
Oh,
they just get to go down the field, get introduced, and see Bryce Harper. You got Jordan Zimmerman, a Wisconsin native, Strasburg, and
Logan Schaefer, line drive, right field. That's down, a base hit. Francisco on his way to third. Schaefer on his way to second. He's in there with a double. His first hit of the night, and the Brewers with runners at second and third and 2 gone.
Well, that will certainly end the night for Tyler Thornburg. Pitcher spot coming up. Looks like Sean Holton is going to get an at-bat. It's a pretty good effort by Neuenhuis, and he's able to keep it in front of him, but just couldn't find where it was. And Logan Schaefer able to get into second base.
Yeah, if that gets by him, Schaefer probably goes all the way around for an inside the park home run. So second and third for Sean Holton now. 2 outs. Holton pinch hitting. 5 for 20 this year. His first big league hit came here on the last homestand against the Cubs as Burke throws that one to the screen, and Francisco wisely stays put. Smart move by Francisco.
Yeah, Brewer got thrown out on a play like that in Houston. All the way to the screen. I don't even think Buck got a glove on it. Hit the padding and came right back to him, and Francisco would have been an easy out.
Dan Worthen will have a chat with Greg Burke. Sean Holton had a good road trip. Numbers don't really bear it out, but Holton swung the bat exceptionally well. He made 4 straight starts. Or starts in 4 out of 5 games, I should say. 1 in right, 1 in left, and then a couple at first base. Some very good at bats. Johnny Naron was raving about his approach at the plate. Holton still looking for his first major league run batted in. Bouncing ball. Oh, nice stop. David Wright throw to first is up the line, and safe is the call. And a run will score. Sean Holton legging it out. That was a fantastic stop by Wright. Otherwise 2 runs are in. And he almost turned it into an out.
Yep, just couldn't get an inaccurate throw off to first base. Had to get rid of it quickly. Well, the Brewers still have some fight in them, trying to get back into this ball game. That ball gets by him. 2 are in, and Holton's at second base. But he does beat it out of first. Inning alive, and that brings up the top of the Brewers order. And will spell the end of the night for Burke.
A rocket off the bat of Holton. But it goes as an infield hit and an RBI. His first RBI in the major leagues. Pitching change for the Mets. We'll take a break. 2 on with 2 out. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Baseball Night in America returns. It's the Brewers and the Mets. Saturday, 5:30 p.m. And it's all right here. That's all on Fox, I should say. Not here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Don't forget the All-Star Game selection show preceding the Brewers and the Mets tomorrow. So national television tomorrow for the Brewers and the Mets. All of that tomorrow on Fox beginning at 5:30 Central. We'll be back on Fox Sports Wisconsin Sunday for the finale of this series. There's Aoki. New pitcher is Josh Edgin, the left-hander to face the left-handed hitting Aoki, who is having a great year against left-handed pitching.
Yes, he is. And Edgin, one of 2 left-handers down in that bullpen. Scott Rice, the other. 24th appearance for Edgin. Bigger in run average at 5.30.
Aoki into left field. Playable for Young to end the inning. Brewers strand 2. They get a run. We're headed to the 9th. 9-5 New York. Let's have the lead 9-5. And our upcoming schedule, the Brewers starting a homestand tonight, Mets and the Reds, and then the 4-game road trip in Arizona prior to the All-Star break. All-Star game exclusively on Fox on Tuesday, July 16th, and then we're back at it here at Miller Park on the 19th, starting a series and a homestand with the Marlins. Got the Padres coming in after Miami. So that's what it looks like through the month of July here. Berg Badenhop is the next man up for the Brewers. Thornburg did a nice job picking up some innings today, giving up 2 runs. And Badenhop will have the 9th.
Well, he's had 2 very impressive outings as Tyler Thornburg. 4 1/3 today. 3 hits, a couple of runs, and 2 strikeouts. Badenhop takes over. Rough time out his last time, and that was yesterday against the Nationals. Badenhop gave up 3 hits, a couple of runs, did not get an out.
Bunch of finals coming in the big leagues. The Cardinals beat the Marlins tonight. Jake Westbrook picked up his 5th win. Mujica, after blowing a save last night with the Angels, or against the Angels, saved his 22nd. So the Cardinals at 51-34. They are behind the Pirates. Pirates won today. Francisco Liriano went the distance for Pittsburgh. They beat the Cubs 6-2 at Wrigley. Liriano's 8-3 and a 2.20 ERA. And Pittsburgh with a 2-game lead in the National League Central over St. Louis. Reds lost today to the Mariners 4-2.
And Pittsburgh now 21 games over 500.
They've got plenty of staying power this year, I believe.
I don't think they're going away this year.
They were 16 over at the break last year. Missed out on the postseason. Back-to-back years they've had some second half collapses. That ball hits the base, and that's a fair ball for Young. He's on his way to second. The throw from Aoki is late. It hits Young. Schaefer heads up, backing it up. Leadoff double for Eric Young. That's his second hit, and he's been on base 4 times tonight.
We've only had 1 3-up, 3-down inning. That was the 5th. And runners all over the bases for the Mets tonight, although the Brewers have out hit New York 12-11. And a leadoff double for Eric Young.
Runner at second for Daniel Murphy is hitless tonight for the Mets. 0 for 5. The other division leaders, the Braves and the Diamondbacks. Braves are finished today. They lost to the Phillies. Cliff Lee 10-2. Couldn't buy a win last year. Now he's got 10 of them. He beat Paul Mahalam.
How much longer is Cliff Lee going to be a Philly?
Makes you wonder. Wonder if the Phillies feel like they're in it or not. They're just 3 games under. This next week's going to be big for them. That second wild card keeps a lot of teams in it. Popped him up, foul territory. And Aramis Ramirez cannot make the play into the seats. Now the Diamondbacks are underway as well. They lead Colorado 2-0. Arizona had that grind them out win over the Mets yesterday in 15 innings. Kept giving up the lead, but they hung on to win. Arizona 3 games over 500, but they lead their division. At National League West, all 5 teams separated by 4.5 games. Diamondbacks, Rockies, Dodgers, Padres, Giants. There's a strike called. Murphy is out.
Yeah, division leader right there, only 3 games over 500.
Arizona would be in 4th place in the National League Central.
And Badenhop threading the needle on the outside corner with a backdoor slider. Long night at the office for David Murphy.
0 for 6.
I should say Daniel Murphy. My mistake. David Wright, Daniel Murphy.
Wright's had a busy night at the plate. A couple of walks. Has a hit. Been on 3 times. He scored twice. The face of the franchise with the Mets. He's a good one. Mets are hoping to start clearing some space, get some financials in better shape. Did he catch it? Oh, you know he did.
And that is a real foul ball.
Yeah, that's unlike the fake ones that you and Dwayne are holding.
Right.
He gives it to a kid, and this guy, he is the player of the game. Good character, Rock. Good character. Good camera work, too.
It's always good to be able to give a baseball to a kid. You're always going to get applause. You're going to get yourself on TV, and nice things are going to be said about you.
That's right. Your smile is your reward. Nice going, sir. right into center. Gomez makes a catch. Young will tag. They'll make it to third, but 2 men are out. Look how happy that young man is.
Yeah.
And just think about how angry he's going to be when his sister takes it from him later tonight. And then like throws it on the field or something. It's great. Good job. Just warms your heart. I like her glove. She's got the pink accents on the glove. It's nice. Got to hang on to that all summer, and then the first day of school, that's a show and tell.
Yeah. Unless mom takes it away after he throws it through a window. I've done that. I remember my grandfather came back from spring training in Florida and gave me a baseball. I'm 5 years old, 6 years old. Had Casey Stengel's autograph on it.
Oh my goodness.
My brother and I went out and played with it and lost it.
Oh no.
Tell me my father wasn't upset.
Principal Pete. Go pick your own switch.
Yeah. Now, when I'm 5, 6 years old, do I know who Casey Stengel is?
I think you should have. There should have been a briefing. Speaking of the Mets.
I wish I had it now.
Casey Stengel. Managing the expansion Mets. One of the worst teams ever. Baseball history.
The amazing Mets.
And later became the 69.
Right.
That's why they called them the amazing Mets, because of the depths that they came from, right? Were you a Mets fan at all?
Yeah. In 69.
A base hit to right. And a run will score. Ike Davis with his third hit. And his return to the big leagues.
Oh, you got that one, did you? They won the World Series in 69.
Told you, I'm right there with you. Not a good night for the Brew Crew here at Miller Park in front of their home crowd. Not many areas of success tonight. Mets have scored in 6 of the 9 innings tonight. 10 runs on 12 hits. Hit hard to right center. Gomez can't get it. That's going to go all the way to the wall. And Neuenhuis to third base. A run will score. That'll be an RBI triple. And it is 11-5. Neuenhuis, what a night. On base all 6 times. 4 hits and 2 walks. And a home run away from the cycle.
And 4 RBIs. Badenhop trying to get that sinker away. He got it outer half but up, and Neuenhuis able to pull it, hit it hard into center, hooking away from Gomez as he tried to track it down, and Ike Davis able to score from first base. Ike Davis with a heck of a night. Fresh from the minor leagues.
Well, Davis with 3 hits. Neuenhuis actually 5 runs batted in tonight on his 4-hit 2-walk evening.
That's right. I forgot about that last one.
Well, that is a stat sheet filler right there. Double, single, double, triple.
This is the Mets' 20th at bat with a man in scoring position tonight.
Wow. And how they doing tonight? Pretty good with 11 runs on the board.
Yeah, but the unearned runs are the difference in the game. Brewers have given up 6 of them, and it's a 6-run lead.
1-2 with 2 outs. Outside for a ball. Bouncing ball, Segura can't get it. RBI single. Lagares with his second hit and his third RBI. And it's 12-5 Mets.
The last couple of appearances have been rough on Burke Badenhop. Badenhop with a 366 earned run average coming in. And that included a couple of earned runs in yesterday's game. And 3 more today.
And here's John Buck. For Kirk Neuenhuis, his first career 4-hit game and a career best 5 RBIs tonight. He has led the charge for the Metropolitans. 12 runs on 14 hits. Reason to smile. Buck into center field for Gomez. And that's that for the Mets. No more at-bats for the Mets. They don't need any more. 12 runs on 14 hits. To the bottom of the 9th we go. Head down after surrendering 3 runs. He's been pitching a lot, as has the rest of the bullpen. You know, his arm has to be dragging right now, and he gives up 3 runs in the 9th. An ERA buster for Badenhop. 12-5, the Mets have the lead. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Edgin's going to stay to try to finish this one off. Carlos Gomez will bat second in this inning. He's making a bid for a 5-hit game, if you're looking for a reason. Segura leads the way. And a strike from Edgin. Tomorrow it's Gallardo against Sean Markham. Markham at 1-9 this year. signing with the Mets late. Sitting next to Matt Harvey, Sports Illustrated cover boy. Giovanni Gallardo has had a couple of down starts. He's looking for a bounce back tomorrow.
The Brewers can certainly use another long start from one of their starting pitchers. And Giovanni knows it.
Well, Segura tonight has a hit. He scored a run. 1 for 4. Came in with a batting average of .323. That was good enough for 4th in the league to start play today. Now he fouls that one into the Mets bullpen, or rather the Mets dugout. He's hanging tough. Zach Wheeler in line for the win tonight. It would be his second major league victory. He had his first major league hit tonight. And Segura, fly ball, right field. Neuenhuis, 4 out, number 1. Well, Gomez with a chance at his 5th hit. Thrown out at third base, trying to stretch it into a triple in the 7th inning.
Average up to .320.
2 doubles, 2 singles. Gomez climbing the charts in the National League.
And Segura at .322. You got Gomez at .320.
That would put Gomez 5th in the league in batting, actually 6th in the league in batting. That ball is hit off the end of the bat. And the first time Gomez has been retired tonight. 2 outs. They will announce the All-Stars tomorrow on Fox. On the Fox pregame, Baseball Night in America. Fox National has the broadcast tomorrow. Back on Fox Sports Wisconsin Sunday, and then we'll have all 3 games of that Red Series on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Don't forget the show coming up after our Brewers Live programming on the 2013 MLB Draft. Brewers allowing us into the War Room. Name of the show is called Spotlight Brewers Draft. Fascinating look inside the decision making. Aramis Ramirez pops it up, and this ball game is mercifully over. One to forget tonight. The Brewers drop one to the Mets 12-5 in the first game of this series. And they will quickly try to erase this one from their memory as they get ready for tomorrow's matchup with Gallardo against Markham. Telly Hughes standing by. It's time for Brewers Live. What do you have coming up, Telly?
Well, BA, not the way the Brewers wanted to start this 6-game homestand. We'll take a look at the Brewers' miscues. We'll have our on-field instructional. We'll go inside the clubhouse to get reaction. We'll hear from manager Ron Renicky, and we'll have a preview of tomorrow's game. It's Brewers Live, and it's up next.